It's the Bennington Show on a Monday. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
I'm Ron Bennington. I wanted to start the show with that because we lost somebody over the weekend. One of the greatest of all time, Arnold Palmer. And wait, I got these mixed up somewhere. What was I looking for? It couldn't have been Arnold Palmer, right?
I think it's Bill Nunn. Radio Raheem.
Radio Raheem, that's right. Oh, well, the good news is Arnold Palmer was still alive then.
No, that's actually
okay. Then
accurate.
I've got nothing in these papers. Radio Raheem from Do the Right Thing, one of the great, bizarre characters of all time.
He was such a perfect character, and he's so beloved in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, is he to this day? Anybody with a boombox gets called Radio Raheem immediately. I just brought up Arnold Palmer. Maybe one of the most famous people who's ever lived. And when I was a kid, I was part of Arnold's army. I would just go from course to course, following him around like, "Come on, Arnold, try to putt it in, putt it, putt it." It's really hard to be a fan when you're in golf. You're just like, chip, 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 yeah, chip it. A lot of times I'll just go, get in there, get in the hole, get in the hole.
Are you too good for your home?
Yeah, those things are the reasons why people shouldn't golf, because those are the lines that get done constantly, as if all of us haven't seen it a million times.
I know. I would probably be pretty annoying on a golf course.
I don't know why people are still playing golf now that we have video golf, and you can do it all right from home.
It's great because then there's no nature involved.
Right. Well, there's no nature on a golf course.
I know. It's
either.
like I love when people say, I love golf, like just get out in nature. And I'm like, well, it's fake nature.
I love when they go to a beautiful place and just scrape it out and put it in the same golf course that's everywhere else. Love that.
Couple ponds.
Yeah, you get out in nature. You know what makes why golf will always be perfect is because you can smoke a lot of marijuana and do it. And when you're in Florida, you just smoke weed out there all day.
Well, that makes sense. I don't think there's another game that you could probably perform as well on if you were smoking weed.
I don't know if you perform that well. You just don't care as much. I once drove the ball in the wrong fucking direction. Just hit it back where we came from. It's like running the third.
Is that bad?
And I said, still is a good shot. Also, these tournaments, they just give out free golf stuff wherever you go. Like, somebody on this hole wins a driver. Someone on this hole wins a vacation. Like, really? How's this a charity? It doesn't seem like a charity anymore. I always have the same gimmick whenever I do those charity things, those golf things, is when our cart pulls up, try to get, everyone has to be on your side, but you all act like you fall out of the cart. And it's always like a thing of everyone's like, oh, you're just fucking around. And like they don't laugh the first time, and then they laugh the second and third hole. Fourth hole, they're laughing really hard, and then they don't laugh again the rest of the time.
That's how that works.
And what you have to do is keep the bit going long after no one thinks it's funny.
Until it's only funny to you.
It's why I have this other thing that I think works too. Whenever I'm in a car and I'm stuck in the back seat, I'll put my palms over the driver's eyes as a way of saying I should have been up front. I can't do this from up front. But it's also funny, too, that screech when someone knows, like, they should be in control because they're driving, but they're not because now they're blind. And I always go like this, too. You never even think about the parasite, do you, until you lose it.
You didn't know what you had.
Well, it is the Bennington Show on a Monday. I call it the Monday of the Eagles. 3-0.
It feels great.
On our way to 16-0, and then a 19-0 season.
It feels very good.
Should feel good.
And different and new.
Yeah. Now, before the season started, I heard them saying Pittsburgh would go to the Super Bowl. This was a defining moment. And then today, on one of the shows, I hear no one is worse than Pittsburgh, and Tomlin needs to be fired.
How quick that happens. You have one. You're only as good as your last game.
You know, my father always said you're only as good as your last performance, which is a horrible thing to say to a child. And yet it kept me up at night laying in bed when I thought, could I lose this love? Probably. Looks like it. Gotta stay on edge. But no one fires the people who make predictions on ESPN. That's what annoys me. No one said, look, I made some bad predictions and they're talking about getting rid of me.
This is your third bad prediction in a row.
They don't care. They go and make a fourth prediction. And when that one comes in, they come in the next week and they're like,
what'd I say?
What'd I tell you, man? Well, first of all, hey, you didn't play the game. You just said what you thought was going to happen. So you have nothing to celebrate.
Yeah, but it was the smarts, my smarts, that made me think this.
There's something so annoying about sports television and sports radio, and yet I find myself looking at it way too much, particularly when my team wins. Now, I won't watch any of the fuckers.
No.
I think any man knows what I'm talking about. When your team gets stomped, you skip PTI the next day. You just don't fucking watch it.
The TV goes off.
Yeah.
Preferably the lights out and sitting in the darkness is the best way to handle it.
Yeah, either that or you put on that thing on El Rey right now, that director's seat, and you just watch John Favreau talk about all of his movies. The thing about Zathura that I think worked, I watched that for 2 hours.
Did you?
Yeah. 2 fucking hours.
Did you learn a lot?
I just felt like we directed a lot of films together. You know, Cowboys and Aliens was a mix of genres. Was I surprised when I found out it only made $4 million? Yeah, but it's not my money that gets put up, so I felt better. Made. Let's talk about Made for a while. By the way, I think Made might be my favorite of all the
Made is a very underestimated movie.
All the independent films that he made, get it? Chef, Made, and a little thing called Swingers. All terrific.
Yeah.
Big fan of all of them.
Swingers was great. And when Made came out, I was like, this isn't going to be good. Like, they should not be trying to recreate this feeling that they had. That movie's so good.
It's fucking great.
It's so funny.
And yet, he spent zero time talking about it.
He didn't talk about it?
Spent a lot of time talking about Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2.
Maybe he didn't talk about it because he didn't want to say when I made Made.
Yeah, that would be it.
It's like,
you think it'll ever be remade? Will Made be remade?
I have a great title for it.
Remade. They're back. They're taking another flight and asking for drinks.
Looks like someone got more per diem. That's my per diem. Nobody touches that. So this is my... Okay.
Good.
So this is my per diem.
Yeah.
Great.
And there's so many great lines that Vince had in that thing because he's going to want us to walk up front and whack the pilot. So that's it. Dude, if I was gay, I could get blown in the subway, okay? Tell me where it's all happening right now. You see this right here? That's the way it's going to be going down. That's like everyone I've ever known that I grew up with. I'm going to tip up front. Like that way, you know, I'm not fucking around.
Like a false confidence.
Yeah.
And like a false just... like thinking that you're very classy. Like there's nothing better than that character who's just I'm a very classy guy. I take care of things. And the person's just a mess.
It's the way everyone feels when they go to Vegas.
Right.
You start telling the staff, hey, I don't know what time you get off, but we're fucking partying hard. It's going to go on for a couple days. And everybody bring a fucking straw because you don't want to you don't want to get any kind of nose disease. All right. Have your own personal straw. It's all happening right now. Tell everybody in the back.
Yeah,
everybody's welcome. Okay, it's gonna be cool. And before you know, get the fuck out. I'll fucking kill every one of you. So tonight is the big debates. They're gonna be debating each other on some kind of policies.
What will happen?
Who cares? I don't know why. I mean, first of all, I've never cared for the debates. I think they're a made up thing.
Yeah.
Presidents don't debate anyone. You know what I mean? Never. Like, you will be elected and then never have another debate
I think you don't debate foreign leaders to get things done.
It could be a negotiation. You can see who negotiates better, but we'd all have to watch TV for weeks at a time.
That would actually be great, is that we set up kind of a reality show that helps us determine our president.
We did that. It's called The Apprentice, and everybody loved it.
So it worked out.
But see, just the way that the Apprentice is not an interview process.
Sure.
Neither is the debate any way of proving who would be the next president. The last election that we had, Obama came in and just tanked it the first debate. Just fucking he looked like he was high, and it looked like he'd been high for days and now was crashing bad. And the Mormon was just teeing off on him. Just blasting him. When it was over, the Mormon was dancing around. Yeah, motherfucker! What happened to your boy? And nothing. It had nothing. It did nothing in the election. Nobody.
Because you're only good at your last debate. But there was another debate, and then they're like, "Now he's good."
The next debates were very sparsely watched, and they weren't good. I mean, both of them went in there and just kind of danced for an hour. It didn't really come across as that they were into the debates. The debates don't matter. If you're a Trump backer, right? Mm-hmm. And you watch tonight, you're not going to go, wait, Hillary's onto something. I think I'm going to switch over to her.
But do you think that it's not necessarily like anything that is said is going to be that significant? It's like the media aftermath that kind of seeps into the psyche. Like when everybody starts to say, well, this person's very good, then people start to believe it.
The media aftermath has been going on for a year and a fucking half. Neither one of these fuckers have anything to say to me. You know what I mean? I get it. We have seen them both every day for a year and a half. There's nothing new. If the spin of the media gets to you, it should have gotten to you already. What are there some people now who are just going, I haven't turned on my TV since 2014, so I'm going to watch
these guys?
Yeah, what's going on here? Trump.
Do we have a point plan? Maybe
Trump, that's weird. I saw that on a building when I went to New York. Same guy? All right, let's go. Start debating, you two. I got it. Clinton. That seems... Is she related to an ex-president?
Yeah, she is, actually.
Okay, great. All right, so the real estate guy and the wife. All right, let's see what we got. I can't imagine that anybody would look at this debate and clearly think, I thought one way before, I thought one way the next time. I remember that last debate when I said the one that Obama just fucking tanked. I put on Anthony's. I think at that point it was just a podcast that he was doing out of his basement or whatever, you know. And he was laughing his ass off, and he was like, "This is great." He goes, "I'm gonna turn on Fox News. There's just gonna be jizz all over the place, right?" And I'm fucking laughing, like, holy shit, we might really have a contest. It didn't change anybody's mind. No. I mean, that's how bad he beat them. The people thought there was going to be jizz just hanging off of a set on Fox News. People were just going to be fucking masturbating, just shooting big fucking ropes of cum into the air. No, didn't happen that way. I don't know why anyone would think a debate. It would be just as interesting if they played ping pong.
It seems like you can only hurt yourself. Like the stuff that sticks is when somebody does something really atrocious or really comes off weak. But I don't think
I've done enough things that are atrocious. Both fucking sides are atrocious. There's nothing new to find out. I mean, I guess if someone farted, you might have someone like, I can't believe this guy can't even hold in a fart until after a debate. But that would be it. That would be the only surprising thing. If I looked up and it said in the paper tomorrow, and I still go out and get the paper. I get it from a little a blind guy. It sits on a box on 57th Street. And it just said, Clinton's fart blasts last over 45 seconds. Oh, nation alarmed. Then I'd be like, holy shit. I think she fucking... And then, you look over at the Daily News, juicy fart steals the bait. And you're like, what? Juicy? It's wet? I don't know. I don't know what would actually have to happen for anybody to be surprised. We know both these people. This is a way, just like the Republican and Democratic debates, what everyone said was all so important. Oh, you're not watching debates, you should watch. No one remembers one fucking debate. Nothing. Matter of fact, one of the debates was one guy and 16 guys that don't matter at all anymore. Just don't matter at all anymore. How the fuck would a debate show that you're a good leader?
But then when the numbers shift, who are these people who are shifting, or is this not even, do you even trust polls to begin with?
I think they've already proven that it's not scientific enough to know. I think if it really comes down to the mood of the country a week out, why are we doing a poll a year before?
Oh, well,
why is that fucking important?
That's insane. I think that we might be the only country that drags the election process, the campaign process along this.
First of all, I'd like to say we're the only country.
Period.
That's what I like to say. And I never even brought this up before. I'm going to say it today. If Trump, and I know Alec Baldwin and people like that have said this. I'm serious, though. If Trump wins this election, I'm moving out of the county. Yeah.
Just a different borough maybe for you, or?
Maybe Westchester. Maybe North Jersey. I don't know. Could I make it in every day from the Poconos? Possibility. You know, I like to drive. I've got Sirius XM, but I will leave the county. Plus, there's another problem. People have been calling me coward in the county sometime. I don't even know why. Like fucking Kenny Rogers started it.
Well, get out of here then. Start a new life.
Was that Kenny Rogers or Aaron Rodgers who sang that song? I can never remember. They're both great. But yeah, if the polls only matter a week out, why don't we just do the first poll then? What does it matter a year and a half before?
Yeah, I think we could narrow this down to like a 3-month process. I think that would be fine.
I'm going to tell you right now, I talk to my folks every week, and you could not get them to not vote for Trump if you tortured them. If you tortured them, their dying breath would be Trump.
Yeah.
And I think that's true of most people by now. You've got your, even the same as the people like, I'm not going. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to go. I don't care if the Avengers put out something about some kind of weird video that everybody should vote. Let me say this. If it takes the Avengers making a video to get you to vote, that's the reason why you vote, you shouldn't be voting.
Well, I wasn't going to vote until I realized I could rock my vote. And then I was like, this sounds like something I could get behind.
Well, I was going to vote or die, and then eventually said, die. I don't care.
I guess I choose death.
I'm sorry, P. Diddy Puffy. You know, if I had a guy fucking following me around with an umbrella, making sure the sun didn't get on me, on my black skin, I mean, let's face it. What does Pity have to worry about? Fucking sunburn? No, he's fine.
Maybe it's just for heat purposes.
I understand now. I get it. Okay. You know what?
It keeps you nice and cool under there.
There's racism, but then there's racial ignorance. And I think I fell in the racial ignorance. I just didn't consider.
That might have been a microaggression.
Microags, I don't like to do them, but I think they're part of life. Deepwater Horizon, coming soon. Friday. What was the big movie out this week? Scully 2?
Oh, was that this week?
No, Scully was like 4 weeks ago.
Oh, shit.
They're putting out Scully 2, and Scully 2 is where he didn't crash a plane. Just shows him taking off in a plane, landing properly, and everybody clapping like, you finally fucking did one, Scully. And he's like, hey, it was a lot of birds.
Magnificent Seven.
Let's see if we can guess how much money it made. I'm going to say, well, you go. Vito, do you already know?
Oh.
Let's let Vito go first.
I'm going to say 22 million.
I was going to say 60.
I'm going to go. Why you freaking out?
What?
Because she said that, and I realized how low I said.
You lowballed it? No. I don't think because it's an off season. This isn't the summer.
Yeah, it's not. It's not going to be a blockbuster.
So I'm going to go in between you two. I'm going to say $33 million.
$35 million.
Nice.
Boom.
See, now you don't feel so silly, Vito.
No, you were actually closer.
Yeah, you were closer.
Not than me, the winner.
For a second, I felt like that scared me.
Look, don't panic. There's nothing
You
could
didn't
go.
$350 million.
Billion. Oh, not a billion? Then $700. Did it make 700? Is that a crazy number? 700? Don't you hate like if you're ever like at a fucking party and there's like party games, someone's panicking about how they don't think they're good at charades. They're like, I don't know charades. Why are we doing this? I don't know movies. I don't know books. And you're just like, calm the fuck down.
Okay.
This isn't a league. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is because we're trying not to do cocaine. You know, we're older and we're trying not to do cocaine. But stop. I can't fucking stand around people.
People get really edgy. I've noticed this, like a group of friends of mine went away on a vacation and we got snowed in. So we played a lot of board games and we had Trivial Pursuit. And there were people who got really angry and insecure. Like if you were doing well in the game. They're like, so what? I don't know fucking pop culture, all right? Like they get really like you found out something really bad about them that they've been hiding their whole life.
But if I went there,
I'm bad at geography, okay?
If there was a game, right, and it was just about geometry, I would still just try to play it, not give a shit if I fucking know didn't know anything about it.
Particularly because these are pastimes. They're to just pass the time.
Right. That's it. We're not really judging you on your ability to pantomime Gone with the Wind. But you know what game
I've never even seen that movie, so what am I supposed to do?
You know what I do find to be embarrassing is the game where you have to draw shit and then people have to guess it.
The win, lose, or draw game? Right?
I don't know what it's called.
Categories? Dictionary?
I don't know what any of these... You've got a fucking sheet of paper and you're drawing on it. People have to guess. That thing where you're going like, that's a fucking house to you? You know what I mean? Like, that's really an embarrassing game. Like, how can you not see that's not a dog? People are just like, Wolfman, Wolfman. Gone with the Wolfman. And you're just like, I didn't draw much when I was a kid. My father never taught me to draw.
That's a bad dad.
Kids, it's drawing time. Into the drawing room. I don't even know what the drawing room is for. They use that in movies.
Is it like a lounge? I feel like it's a lounge. Where it's not a living room, but you lounge in the drawing room.
First of all, think of any house, right?
Yeah.
Is there a room called the lounge? There's no room ever called the lounge. Meet me in the lounge. Unless you're in a fucking hotel, you would never say meet me in the lounge.
I think it's like almost like a foyer, but next to the foyer.
Well, first of all, what's a foyer? Is that
foyer
in between
or
room?
a foyer, if you're French. That is like the entrance to your home that oftentimes you would take maybe your boots off and you're like...
An umbrella?
Yeah, like it's just like it leads into the main...
How would you take an umbrella off?
Like, that's where you leave your umbrella. I have a foyer. It's incredibly small.
So it's a small little hallway that leads to the home.
Yeah.
Supposed to be a coat rack there.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the foyer.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Foyer or foyer?
Foyer.
Okay. But a drawing room only, I believe, is in a mansion. You know what I mean? I don't think a smaller home would have a drawing room.
Do you entertain guests in your drawing room?
That answer would be no, because I'm not having a guest over.
Like, do you tea in the drawing room?
I don't tea.
I feel like only the family goes to the drawing room.
Really?
Like if you live there, you only go... Like,
I have a feeling the drawing room sounds like a place for guests. The lounge, that's for just your comfortables, your intimates.
No, we're going to the lounge. That's for people who sit around their house like Mariah Carey. I saw her on one of those fucking take a look at my apartment shows.
Yeah.
And every room she was in, she was like lying like a cat.
Yeah.
Like her body'd be all stretched out and she would just be pursed there like a Persian.
It's all lounge to her.
Yeah. Welcome to my meow 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 home. Meow meow meow. Well, Anyway, a lot of these rooms don't exist.
Yeah.
Outside of giant. And like, here's the difference. Today's mansion, right? It's just like any suburban home, but bigger.
It's bigger.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't go in there and go, oh, you have a nicer, classier home than me. You go, oh, your Ethan Allen rooms just go on and on and on.
It just continues on forever.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying they're not comfortable, but they don't impress. You know what I mean?
Right. There's not a situation now where you're like, let's move from the formal dining room into the drawing room for cocktails.
Yes. There's no more mainline, as I like to say.
Nothing's mainline anymore.
They're not very mainline. It's just like a big, stupid suburban house that sprawls and sprawls and sprawls. And a lot of times you just walk down the hall and you just see empty rooms. You're like, I'm not going to fucking spend the money to put furniture in there. Nobody goes in there.
Just empty rooms.
Just empty rooms. You see like their old comic books. You're like, oh, it's like you have like your garage is gigantic with little fucking boxes for everything. It's the Bennington Show on a Monday. Who are we doing our next GPS show on, and when's that happen?
That's going to be, the next GPS show is going to be the Canyon scene of the 70s. That's going to be this Saturday.
This Saturday at 3 p.m. on GPS Deep Tracks, Channel 27.
So that's Los Angeles, California in the laid-back 70s. They were the only part of the 70s that was really laid back, that LA scene. And then if you bring it up to any of those guys, they're like, laid back? What the fuck do you mean? We busted our asses to make that music. I go, well, you made us feel laid back then.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to start a fight here, but no one was fucking slam dancing. You know, you got to admit. Hey, how about how we come walking in today and Metallica is just in our lobby?
I'm getting a huge laugh, by the way.
Well, they're funny guys.
A
They're
little
monkeys.
joke.
I call them the metal monkeys.
And I was like, who's getting this massive laugh? Yeah. Oh, Metallica.
Metallica is a funny, fun bunch, you know?
Nice group of guys.
They want you to pay for their music. That's important to them. No one backed those guys up, and now everyone else bitches about it. But they didn't want to go out there and act like, don't download our music, you thieves.
Yeah, people hated them for that. They were like, we'll steal whatever we want.
We won't pay for shit. We love Napster. Now everything just streams.
Yeah. No, everything. You know what? What do you think is the most listened to of all the streaming services? I just saw this over the weekend.
Spotify?
Pandora?
Out of everything. Number one by far, YouTube. Most people just go to YouTube.
Really?
They said, this article I read said more people listen to playlists than albums. More people will listen to songs that are hooked onto a playlist than ever listen to the way the artist originally put out, 12 songs.
So they'll go on like a YouTube playlist, listen to somebody who just...
Let it happen. Just let it happen. Like, oh, someone else put together a playlist. I trust them more than I do Neil Young. What everyone's trying to listen to is best ofs.
Yeah. Why don't they listen to radio then? It's people who've chosen a playlist for you.
Well, when you say radio, I always think terrestrial, and that is 94% commercials now. I don't know whether the last time you listened to FM, but you just go, oh, there's a commercial on the station, and go over here, another commercial. There's something like 18 minutes of commercials an hour.
Really?
Yeah. It's just great. I try to listen to some friends of mine who do talk radio, and they're like, coming up a little later on the show, we'll be talking about the election, but first it's a break. Welcome to the show. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes. That's a lot.
Now, when you first started, if you had to get, what would you say, an hour, what would be commercial time?
It would normally be 9 to 12. And that's, to us, crazy.
Yeah, that would be a ton.
But the first time that I went to Sirius, and, the first day, we talked for an hour straight, I heard from everybody I ever worked with on radio going, fuck, how did you do that? How did you just keep talking and talking? How did that happen? Because people used to just think you need to constantly reset. You just need to reset every 9 to 10 minutes. And then you're spending all your time telling people who you are and why you're here, giving out the call letters.
Right. You would be doing that every time you came back from break. You'd have to like reset.
And in the middle of breaks even. Where you're like, it's 95 YNF, the home of rock and roll. You would just say that constantly. You had to just drum it into the audience's head, because a month from now they might be filling out a diary, and you don't want them to just write in, I listen to the annoying guys in the morning. I can't think of their names. They're great though. You know what I mean? They had to know it.
Yeah.
Like it was like you were a third grade teacher and they were stupid children. You had to just keep saying.
And how would you like reset people on the show? Like in the same way, you would just, like you would reintroduce me, reintroduce Chris.
Constantly. Yeah. Constantly.
Yeah. That's so wild.
But if you think of how many people here are going like, who's that other guy? And with Chris, they're like, well, I hear Chris Stanley, but then there's a Pepper Hicks too. And we're just like, well, we use a couple names for him. But that's after people listen for years. They still, you know, people don't hang on every word.
Right. Well, radio it's kind of set up that people don't, you know, you move in and you flow with it, and that's like the style of how. So
what they would do in terrestrial is have as much stick to you as you possibly can. Now the thing that would work in your advantage is once they get to know you, they would fill out the diary, and they might listen to you every day driving into work, right? From 7:15 to 7:35. They listen to you. They listen to you every day. They get that diary. They go, 6 to 10, I listen to these guys. They would just give you the full 4 hours. You know what I mean? Now, some people would be very, you know, direct and be like exactly what they do. But most people go, that's my dudes in the morning. They give you the full 4 hours. And that's really, really big for advertisers. But I don't know how much any of it ever worked. I've been working in this fucking business most of my adult life. I never understood if the so-called consultants were ever right about science.
Yeah. Well, it's like the same with any advertising or commercial. I always have to think, look, they've been doing it this way for a while. They move in trends when they do it. Are they on to something, or is it just kind of like Emperor has no clothes? Somebody said, this is the way it goes. This is the most successful way to advertise. And then people go, that's how we're going to do it. And we're pretty sure. It's like a faith thing where we think this works. You
would, you know, I can't tell you the amount of people, and it's millions and millions and millions who have dedicated their lives to just trying to figure out that thing that you brought up. And I mean, every minute of their waking life. Like
if you think of Super Bowl commercials, how there's no real way you could prove, I mean, other than just like an increase of business or whatever, that whatever silly commercial you just spent an incredible amount of money to just give this like 15 seconds to people, have not only did they enjoy it that moment, but later when they were in the store or later when they had to choose their insurance, it was because of that exact thing, that little jingle or that little joke or whatever.
I don't know whether it could even come down to you can look at the increased sales off of something. If increased awareness is probably even more important. The fact that we all know the word Geico.
Right.
We didn't know the word Geico before, and now more people could tell you Geico than any other insurance company. I mean, I'm willing to bet that even insurance companies that have been around, like what's a standard old school insurance company?
State Farm, maybe?
All right, there's a perfect example. I wouldn't have thought of State Farm. At one time, you would ask me what's an insurance company, I would have said State Farm.
Yeah.
You know?
Because that would have been the standard.
Yeah.
Just because it had been around forever.
Been around and done, you know, they used to do really nice commercials. And now I would immediately just say Geico. I don't know what it cost him to get that into my brain. I know they've been after it for a long fucking time.
Yeah, and have used so many different methods. I think Geico might have like more setups of commercials, you know, like
and would run them at the same time.
Yeah, they have the gecko and they have
Caveman like 10 years ago.
Even more. I think that Caveman was like the 90s.
Oh, that Caveman were, that must have been like the late 90s, early aughts.
Love the fucking Caveman.
They got a sitcom out of it.
How long did it last?
2 episodes.
Matter of fact, there was some famous person who was a caveman. I can't think who it is.
It's Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll was a caveman?
I'm pretty sure Nick Kroll was a caveman.
He's a caveman.
Hey, Garth, hold on, buddy. What's up, Garth?
Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know about you guys, but here in our hometown, we have a station that constantly tells us they're the only station that really rocks.
And they
you
are.
Guys don't have one of those either.
They're the only station that rocks. No other station rock.
They dominate.
Get ready for another rock block.
But those things you also own, and they're very important. And they go and check to see if you hit it enough. Yeah. If you know the only station that fucking rocks.
Yeah.
You know, we're like, there's only one station that rocks. Truly.
But even the jingles from terrestrial radio, like that I grew up on, I still think of like Q105. Mm-hmm. It's weird how that stuff stays with you, especially when you're younger. And those are like the first introduction to radio or TV or whatever those things are.
I've had consultants say that the best thing that you could do is the same. You have to take your format and make it so strong that you're doing your trivia question at the same exact time every day. And then 15 minutes later, you're given, your little weather tip or whatever the fuck it is. So that people are in their car and they know whether they're late or early, depending where they are on the road.
Right.
I had another guy that said to me, you want to be like a snack machine where people know what they're getting every time they hit that. And that's not even that long ago. A guy said that to me. And I'm like, but I'm not a fucking snack, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I get why you want to have some consistency in your pretzel. I understand it, but that's not what I want to do for a living.
Sure.
I don't want to be your fucking radio pretzel. Tim Sabian. But see, that's, those guys, they're not saying that because, they're being assholes or something. They truly believe it. They actually believe it because somebody else drummed it into their head. Everybody just wants to be this kind of drone, and everybody just wants what they can expect. Like, for so many years, that worked with, let's say, a McDonald's. What people liked about the early McDonald's is that it wasn't a diner, that they would eat the same cheeseburger whether they were in Philadelphia or Tucson or Minneapolis.
Yeah.
That was an amazing thing for people. Now, for me, that's never been a thing of comfort except for one traveling item. Fucking hotel room. I don't want to be surprised. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to know, this is a bed I don't know whether I like or not.
Right.
Hey, I don't know whether there's fleas in here or not.
Yeah. You want to walk in and go, this looks like all the hotel rooms I've ever been comfortable with.
Yeah. And people tell me all the time, bed and breakfast changes your life. I don't want to hang around the hotel room. So the bed and breakfast doesn't matter as much to me. And I don't want to sit down with other people and discuss things.
Particularly if you're traveling. Like if you're staying a place, you want to stay somewhere beautiful, you want something unique about your hotel. But when you're traveling, there's nothing worse than walking into a motel or hotel and you're like, oh, wow, we made a really bad decision. This place is a fucking wreck.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, when the woman's going, I'm not doing it, and you're like, well, we already paid for it. Get the money back. There's not going to be another room for 40 miles. I can't stay in here.
Yeah.
Sleep in your fucking coat. We're going to be here 9 hours and asleep 8.5 of them.
I've stayed in some real, like, sandy floor, flea bag type motels. But my worst experience was on my way going upstate. We had to pull off the road because it was late. Mm-hmm. We weren't going to check in till the next morning. We just hop into this hotel. It's like one of those things, like it's a name, but like an off name or whatever. Like, you know it, but it didn't seem like that weird. Everything else was booked up. We get in there. We walk down the hallway. There's like literally like stains all down the carpet. We're like, what the fuck? Open the hotel room. First of all, the blast of just like cigarette smoke. I go to open the door. It's just open. Like there's it hadn't been locked. So I'm just like this is dangerous. Like anyone could be in there.
Fine.
There's stains. There was like all these like weird like flying ants lining the tub. And I was like, I'm going to sleep. I'm like going to sleep standing up. This is so weird. I was like counting the hours till we could leave.
Why didn't you go and at least try to change the room or get your money back?
It was the whole place. The whole place was disgusting. And there was only 2 rooms available anyway. It was so bad.
There was just derelicts. There was a derelict fucking convention.
What? Doug Benson just texted me, Nick Kroll starred in the Caveman TV show, not the Geico ads. Doug Benson
Gotcha. So he was not one of the dudes in the original. He was just in the show.
Yeah.
Benson knows everything.
He knows everything good, and he has all the answers.
Oh, great at that. Well, that's good for Nick Kroll, though. Nick Kroll, I believe, is starting his Oh Hello thing
on Broadway
this week. Oh Hello.
Oh Hello.
And there's going to be like a different celebrity that goes on to Oh Hello. You've seen the show?
Yeah. I haven't seen it.
Oh, you saw, Chris?
I didn't see it. No, I tried to get into it in Montreal, but I was blocked.
Yeah, it was completely sold out.
Yeah.
You're dying to see it, though.
Yeah.
I really want to see Oh Hello.
Yes. That's what we're talking about.
Oh Hello.
You know you can't do that for the entire show. Oh, hello.
I saw Mulaney had written one of the documentary nows, because they do a thing on Documentary Now where they sit around afterwards and discuss the thing, like doing their own Walking Dead. But I know you guys are laughing like they're doing a parody of it, but they're not.
They're not doing a parody of it?
No, it's actually real.
Really?
Yeah. And Mulaney had written that fucking thing. And I mean, it was pretty brilliant. It was a parody of the War Room. And I'm like, fuck, Mulaney, no matter what area he goes into, he just crushes.
Yeah.
He's like Doug Benson, that same way.
Yeah, exactly.
Just crushing and making it look easy.
Crushing it, doing everything good.
Oh, I forgot to tell you this story I found out. So, I bet I could play 20 questions with you guys and you would never fucking get it. But last night in Toronto, our good friend, Big Jay Okerson, now maybe just getting called Jay Okerson, I don't know. That's
Really?
the way he was introduced at his own show.
Wow.
One of the people on his What's Your Fucking Deal. You guys want to play 20 questions?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Chris, you're not, first of all, let me just say this. You're not going to get it.
Fuck.
Go ahead.
Is the woman?
No. Come on, Chris. I said it was a comedy show.
Sorry.
Vito.
Television star?
Has been, yes.
Is this person do stand-up?
Yes.
Movie star.
Has, yes.
SNL cast member?
No. That's 5 questions. You're 25% of the way through this, and you're fucking lost.
Is this person have a TV show currently?
No.
They perform music.
No.
Have they won an Emmy?
That I don't know. I'm going to say no. Because I don't know anybody who ever actually has.
Over the age of 40.
Yes.
Zach Galifianakis.
Halfway through, and you throw in get Zach Galifianakis. Would I think that somebody would get Zach Galifianakis if it came to a comedy show? Yes. Halfway through, not even close.
Is it an actor?
Well, was it a TV show?
Yeah.
But like
movies?
a non-comic actor.
I would say no to that then.
I'm going to take a guess.
Really?
Jim Gaffigan.
No. We would guess Jim Gaffigan.
Kiefer Sutherland.
He also does stand-up?
Look, it's someone we would never guess, so I'm fucking going off.
Yeah, I would never guess that he has a stand-up
I
career.
think there's only 5 questions left.
Shit.
Blake Griffin?
No. We
What
were just
TV
at that show that was at. What TV show did Blake Griffin do? Was he over 7 feet tall?
NBA on TNT?
Yeah.
Nate Bargatze.
No, that's tomorrow night. You're looking something up.
No, I'm not.
Nate Bargatze's with him tonight.
Oh, he is?
Yes. So
All
if
right.
I play this game tomorrow, you'll win. Go ahead. Why would we not believe that Nate
I don't
Bargatze
know.
would be there? And is he over 40? No.
Is it a black person? Are they African?
Fucking
Oh, my
racist.
God. It doesn't matter.
It matters to me so I could figure out who it might be.
Good, then yes, you fucking racist. It's a black person.
All right.
Okay?
I'm closer.
Really? At what? Bringing us back to the early 1960s?
Keith Robinson?
No, we would know that Keith would be at the show.
Ron Funches.
All right, that's the end of it. That's 20 questions. What I'm trying to say is no one would believe that this guy would be doing Big J's show. It's a blast from the past. Sinbad.
What?
Sinbad.
Shit.
Wow, that's
awesome.
huge.
Yeah. Could you imagine you're just sitting in a club in Toronto, Big J's up there, and then he brings up Sinbad?
Great. I was closest, though. I was on the right track.
I don't see how.
I guess the race.
You're the fucking of all times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like why?
A tender time that we're living.
A time that we need unity.
But it's not negative at all. I'm just trying to figure out who it might
You're
have been.
negative, dude.
Oh.
Why did you say to me that you don't see race? And obviously you do.
So close to Sinbad.
You were nowhere near it.
No, you weren't anywhere
All
near
you got
it.
was racism.
And then all you got, then you made me and Vito go down a weird path where we're just naming black people. We didn't want to do that.
Well, it was closer than when I yelled out Keith Sutherland, which I really thought I was close.
That one was
People
really
are
strange.
bitching about the app. We got to get off the fucking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just forever, and you can't fix it. I'd blame it 100% on you. 100%.
Please fix the
I
app.
knew how to code.
Why can't you code? You have a fucking computer.
You look like someone who would code.
Fuck. Your code is coming all shapes and sizes.
I wasn't talking about the size. I was just talking about the neck beard.
This is like, it's not even the full neck beard. It's like, hey, I just haven't shaved. That's all.
Just do me a favor and shave the chin and leave the neck beard.
A true neck beard.
Actually, you look like you're going on some kind of fake safari with that shirt on.
This shirt's terrible. I have to do laundry. I fucking feel like an asshole wearing this shirt.
You don't like, what, the color? The safari color?
Yeah, it's fucking like weird khaki shirt.
But the only safari you'd be doing is the Disney one, the jungle safari.
What's that over there?
Yeah, Sinbad was there.
That's very cool.
Stayed on stage for a while too. People never believe me when I say this, but the person who I saw kill an audience the most in my life, I mean destroy an audience, was Sinbad.
Really?
Destroyed them.
Where was this?
In Florida, at a place called Giggles. He got up, and I just watched the audience be pummeled to death. Pummeled. Pummeled. There was another situation where he kind of was at his, just his peak, and was with a guy, and I'm not going to say the guy's name because he's a very talented writer, actor, comedian. And he was very, very flamboyant on stage. He was really big, right? And Sinbad was doing this set. And the guy said, I'm going to go up after him. I'm like, you're fucking crazy, man. This is fucking Sinbad is pummeling. He's beating up. I go, first of all, I'd never seen Sinbad not kill in a room. Two, he, stays up a while and he beats the audience up. And this friend of mine says, no, man, I'm going to fucking go up. And I'm going to fucking, I'm going to take it. And I saw him go on stage. First of all, by the time Sinbad got up, 40 people got up to piss at the same time. That's how long he'd been on stage. 40 out of 300. It was just flying for the pisser. And this friend of mine, I never saw anyone look so small on a stage after Sinbad. It looked like there was like some kind of cartoon where it just got smaller and smaller. And he was just fucking wailing. He was giving everything he had. And he's swinging and he's fucking doing bits that he closes with up front, right? And the audience didn't react to them at all because they had just came from Sinbad. You know what I mean? Like, it's a dumb thing to do after a man has an orgasm for the next woman to come in and attempt to mount him and feel good about herself. That's what happened.
That's so sad.
Yeah. A woman could have a gangbang. A guy really can't. Once he surrenders himself to it. He needs a little time. I don't care who he is. He could use a couple minutes, you know?
Gotta recoup.
Why don't we do this? Let's have some Gatorade. I'm going to look in the refrigerator, see if any of that fucking cold shrimp is left. Just stand there and just start popping it in my mouth. But I'm not ready for you. Well. Hard Rock Johnny.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny put me in the middle of a text war the other day. Because Johnny writes to me and he says, oh, there's nothing better than when Notre Dame loses a football game. Because that's the happiest I get. And I'm writing him, I'm going, oh, that's funny you say that. I'm just talking Fez off the ledge. Yeah. Fez's two teams. This is all Fez cares about this year. Notre Dame.
Yes.
Bucks. Hillary Clinton. They're all having a really bad September. Right? So this is not easy on him. So I tell Fez, hey, Johnny's happy. And then he said something about Johnny, but he called him a scumbag. So I said to Fez, do you mind if I cut and paste that? And I was just doing that little fucking kid thing of being in the middle of the fight. Like, Chris, did you hear what Gail said about your mom? What? You know that?
Oh, it was so good.
Look, there goes Metallica just walking by us.
Oh, there they go.
Metal Monkeys.
Metal Monkeys, Metallica. Everyone loves them. So then it ends. So Johnny said, I root for any team that plays Notre Dame. And then Fez responded with, I root for Planet Hollywood. Let me just say that. Serious as a motherfucker when he said it.
Right.
So then that was the body blow that Johnny could no longer.
Yeah. He tapped out.
Then Johnny was writing to me as the Giants left and I lost the day after. There's Metallica just walking by. More and more Metallica. And I'm like, hey, Fez has put a curse on your team. The Giants will not win.
Oh, my God. It was so bad. He did. He cursed them.
Well, why do you got to fuck with this team like that, Johnny?
I didn't. You know.
I
did. And it's funny because this is the 1 week. I even got a tweet on Sunday from Jerry Barca saying what made the Notre Dame loss even worse was he didn't get trolled by me on the internet because I kind of felt bad that they lost to perennial basketball powerhouse Duke. Not known for their football program at all.
No, this was the biggest win in Duke football history.
Absolutely.
To beat an 0-2 team.
No, they had one win, Notre Dame. They did win one game.
That's right. Who did they beat?
Mary Help a Christian or something like that.
You know what? You're the worst Catholic that's ever lived, Johnny. There's no worse Catholic.
I'm sure there's got to be one or two.
No, not one. Judas was not as bad as Catholic as you are.
Much better.
Your Eagles, though, they're not going to lose until 2018, maybe?
2015. Why are they going in?
Oops. Yeah, sorry. I forgot what year it was.
Yeah.
The Giants, they give up.
You give up on the Giants after one? You're 2-1, and you're in it to the last second.
They're going to, first of all, I kind of wish that they would have won, only because the controversy in D.C. would have been so insane because there's such a rift between Snyder, the coach, who should be quarterback, with the mess up that they did.
All right, wait, hold on. Just what you said, right? It's the same thing we could have said 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10, since that man came into the fucking business.
And I can understand why he is how he is. He's a very little person. I was on the sidelines watching. I was during warm-ups, and there's Dan Snyder walking around in a suit that was probably worth more than I'll ever make in my life, and just walking around like a tiny little curmudgeon. not very happy at all.
He isn't. I was in his suite or something, the suites that are there, and then there's like a Crystal Lounge, actually, right next to it with a giant fucking TV thing. So I was down there when I worked at WJFK. That's our girl from Better Things, Pamela Adlon, I think, just walked by.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe am I crazy?
It's just like a...
Yeah,
like
you go check.
There.
Go check, Vito.
If not, maybe I'm so obsessed with her that I'm losing my mind. But that's 10 times cooler than me, the Metallica baby. Pamela Adlon's here.
That show's been great.
It's unbelievable. So I'm in the thing, and he has this giant TV, and something is slightly wrong with it. Now, this man, at the time, I don't think was 40 yet. Okay, he's like 39.
Jesus.
He owns the Washington Redskins. He owns the stadium that we're in. I mean, I would have been impressed if he just had a big screen TV besides that stuff and nothing else.
Some snacks, maybe.
This fucking TV is fucking up. He starts to get pissed, like Rumpelstiltskin mad, like he's just slamming his foot, ready to crack the fucking earth with it. And I'm like, dude, if you don't fucking see that you won yet, nothing's going to make you happy. Yeah.
Pamela Adlon confirmed.
Adore her.
She look great?
Yes, she looks exactly like Pamela Adlon. Her show's so goddamn good.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
I think everything that she's done for a million years has been great too. Everything.
Yeah.
Her voiceover stuff is good.
I know.
She's the best. Well, Johnny, you got to figure out a way to, you know what I mean, make this up with the Fez. But whether you got to buy him Notre Dame gear.
Listen, I've reached out to the Fez, and he doesn't want to reach. He's now leading a private life, which doesn't include me.
Well, you're a scumbag.
Yeah, come on.
You're an anti-Irish scumbag.
Unscum yourself.
Before I was a scumbag. This is like a year ago, right after everything. I reached out, and that's it. I've been put on the ostracized list, now even more so.
All right, this is something that I just heard about Johnny, that he got an Oh Hello gift bag.
It's the greatest gift bag I've ever gotten.
And free tickets. You going to the show?
What?
I will take care of you guys for tickets as well. Don't worry, I got you. I got some. We're doing a little work with them, but it was a gift bag that came with like a picture of the two of them, and then in there was like toothpaste, a toothbrush, all kinds of brush stuff, and a can of tuna fish. Not really sure why or what.
A picture of Jeffrey because of too much tuna.
Too much tuna.
It's just a very great random, and with a little note from Gil and George. Signed, Gil and George.
All right, somebody who doesn't wish to be public actually text me. Notre Dame beat fucking University of Nevada.
All right, it's close enough. Perennial powerhouse.
And then I'm talking to Fez, and he's fucking so bummed out watching his shitty Bucks play, right?
Oh, God.
And then they start to make like a little bit of a comeback, and then lightning drives people out of the stadium.
Yeah, at the 2-minute warning, I think.
I couldn't even watch the end of the game because I was watching it on Red Zone, and they cut it off. Like you can't watch the end.
How long did they stop the game for?
They went back on at 3 a.m. and played for 2 minutes.
That's crazy.
They announced the final score during the Sunday night game. Like the game was already in the first quarter, and they finally announced the ending of it. So it was like 8:30, 8:45.
Yeah. That was, That's
what happens when you curse the Giants. See what happens? He curses the Giants, and then God gets back at him.
God has been punishing the Bucks for 40 fucking years.
They've had enough
except for 1 year. One year.
One beautiful year.
1 year he sneezed and let them fucking win a Super Bowl. Who's she in to say?
She's in with Sandy right now.
Sandy, the waitress you are seeing lost her desire for me. How's that a song? She says she won't set herself on fire for me anymore. What? What are you doing? You know this dusty arcade? What? He actually says that his shirt got caught on the tilt-a-whirl. He couldn't get off. First of all, they don't keep the ride running if your shirt's stuck. Eventually, the ride stops, and you call the ride boy over and say, help me with this shirt.
How long are you stuck at the tilt-a-whirl?
He made it seem like it went on for a long time.
This is why he's so depressed. Poor fella.
Yeah, he says he battles depression. And I go, I'll put you in the club with everyone I know.
So you're a human.
Yeah. Human being, not a human doing. Good night, everybody. Buy all my Tony Robbins stuff. All right, Johnny, good to talk to you, buddy.
Later, Bennington.
Bye, Johnny.
Try to make this up with Fez.
Yeah,
would you
please do.
I'll reach out, but I'm gonna reach out to him. We'll see what happens.
Reach out and touch Fez. I would consider that a win on your part. I would say that you won if you get him to react to you. You fucking scumbag.
Scumbag. It's fucking great.
That was the best. But his team had just, you know what I mean? His team had just lost. He was actually saying to me, he goes, football makes me feel worse than it does happy. I mean, that's true of everyone.
Yeah.
Oh,
None
yeah.
of us are fucking happy that we watch football.
The worst was when we were playing fantasy. That was when really getting in a dark mood.
It was terrible.
Thank God. No
terrible.
More. Thank God.
Yeah. How you doing with your gambling there on FanDuel?
On FanDuel, I made some money this weekend.
Sweet.
Nice.
That's right. Yeah.
Cool.
Anytime that you're not losing and you're winning, that's good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But it's better because it's just one lineup each week. I don't have to stick with the same players.
Are you interacting with your fans about it? Your little fucking online fans?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like you are, though.
See Stanley 420 on FanDuel.
Yeah, but I mean, don't you scope and you guys talking about it?
I didn't scope this weekend.
It'll be a tough Christmas for you, Biggie. All right, Johnny. Talk to you later, man.
Later.
Peace. All right, it is the Bennington Show on I don't forget what this is, a Monday?
It's Monday.
On a short porch week. We'll break now. Back, Bennington. Ron and Gail Bennington, the Bennington Show with you today on this is like we call the Post-Eagle Victory Dance Day. Your Young Life obsession with the two Coreys, right?
Yes.
Corey Feldman is never out of the news.
He's never out of the news. And, after that last big performance, he had his performance and then everyone was making fun of him. And then he said, he was crushed and hurt. He stays in the news.
Well, this is him. He fired one of his angels, or one of his angels quit. And then he left a voicemail that I guess said angel put out. Why do all these LA guys got to call their chicks angels?
Is it a Charlie's Angels thing? Like, what is the obsession?
Angels in the outfield?
Could be. I'm feeling like that could be the answer.
Here is Corey, the living Corey Feldman, on a voicemail. This is up on the Interbank today.
Crystal, it's Corey. I'm wanting to believe that this is a joke. You got to be joking, right? This isn't real. Like, no human being on this earth would be selfish enough and egotistical enough and fucked up in the head enough to fuck friends over like this at the last minute. Like, that I spent real money, and that I'm struggling, and how hard it has been to get to this point. And like, no person would do this to another group of people that they call friends unless you're like a soulless, careless, like inhumane fucking piece of shit. So I really hope, for all fucking practical purposes, that this is a fucking elaborate joke and that you're going to call and say that this was all a joke or you were just playing or something. Because if I don't fucking hear from you, girl, your name is fucking Mud. Let me tell you, don't even bother coming back to LA because you'll never get another gig in that fucking town. Ever. Like, I will fucking make sure everybody knows what a piece of shit you are. Okay? Cool. Peace.
Okay, I don't see how that's cool or peace. But two,
well, he ended nice.
The fact of you'll never work in this town again. Is he oblivious what a cliche this is?
Yeah, like is there a way that you could ever say that sentence without joking? Like, there are people who say it, I'm aware, but just at this point of time where we know this is a stupid cliche that sounds like the bad guy in a movie,
right?
Who's saying, you bitch, you'll never work in this town again.
Because
your name is Mud.
Because, first of all, if you could make anything happen in that town, you wouldn't be Corey Feldman.
Right.
You know?
I'm not sure he has the swing that he thinks he does.
He might have had the swagger for his small time between 86 and 87 and with kid movies.
Look, that man is all about truth and loyalty, justice in the American way.
His voice hasn't changed at all.
It's the exact same.
It's the exact same kid voice.
It's the same dude.
The same thing happened to him that happened to that little girl in fucking Interview with a Vampire, is that she was forced to stay a little kid forever.
Yeah.
Well, poor Corey. I don't not consider that a meltdown. It just, that to me sounds like most of the time I've ever talked to my friends anyway. Are you fucking kidding me?
He comes off like a jerk, but I wouldn't call this a meltdown.
Well, they had a gig coming up, and at the last minute she bailed. You can't. He
has a point.
The band has to come first, right?
Her name is Mud now to me.
You're Mud. Your name is completely Mud. People can't get enough of that crazy Corey, though.
I know. And then because, everybody's been speculating on the Corey Haim drama and who is this unnamed actor. So
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So they say that, there has been implications in the past that Corey Haim was sexually abused or raped by a male person that was in the industry. And so now people are saying that that person's name is known and it may leak. And it's a very well-known person who was like an A-list celebrity of that time. And Corey Feldman had remarked kind of in the past, like, look, a lot of people judge Corey Haim, but you don't know what he's been through, and like all of this stuff, his demons come from a certain place. So now everybody's trying to speculate and figure out exactly who they think is the person behind this.
Is there a number one leading person?
There is a number one.
Don't say it on the air. Write it down though.
Okay.
Let me think if I could.
This is who most people are thinking it is.
I'm praying it's not Dabney Coleman.
For a couple different reasons.
I was literally going to say that, but I didn't think that he was that much older.
Yeah, he was older, but
not by a lot.
Yeah.
He went only a few years. That's weird.
Well, it isn't weird because it's not true. It's online speculation.
Yeah, it's just a speculation. This is not, a guarantee. It's just who people are guessing.
Yeah,
and it's possible somebody's going to leak it. And, they say Feldman knows, but he won't say.
It's not that big a deal because to me, they're about the same age.
You think so?
We can spend time looking at it.
Unless it's, unless it was in our situation. It was a non-consensual situation, and then it still would be a scandal. Yeah,
but unless they were both under, 18 at the time.
Yeah, but you could still have non-consensual sex if you're both underage.
No, I get that completely, but I'm saying,
6-year age difference.
6 years. So, the difference between, let's say, 14 and 20 is big.
Right.
Not as big as 6 and 1, though.
No,
It happened when he was 1. I was hoping for a bigger, right. Like that is so scandalized already.
But there has been rumors that there was some sort of like an underground ring and that he was thrown into that mix by someone who was, maybe a little bit more behind the scenes and all powerful. And then he was passed around in that way.
This has been true of Hollywood and young people coming to Hollywood since the fucking before the talkies were invented.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You want to be a star? Welcome to Hollywood, babe. So, fucking, you know what I mean? This fucking guys would just wait at the fucking bus stop and the bus came in from fucking Peoria.
Yeah, I'm a movie producer.
Yeah.
Look at this camera.
You've got something. I don't know what it is, but I want to fuck it. Whatever it is, I want to bang the hell out of it. I thought that was Jenna. What is it? Something Wick.
Oh, yeah.
What's her name?
I don't know her last name, but I know.
Because I just saw her in the hall.
Chenoweth.
Chenoweth.
Yeah.
What's the first name?
Something.
Is it Mitchell?
It's not
Mitchell Chenoweth.
No, it's a woman's name.
Yeah, okay.
Kristen Chenoweth.
Christian, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the whisper. Let's see what else is up that's big on the Chris sent in the iPhone 7 drill holes thing.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Seriously? You don't think this is a complete prank?
I believe people are doing it.
I believe people are saying that they're doing it so that other people will pay attention to them.
So you think there's like purposely going viral by saying, I believed this thing that was out there?
How long has everyone had a cell phone?
A while now.
Would anyone who would spend the money to get this first, who I think those are all the tech savvy people up front, they're going to know that you don't take a drill and drill it into a phone.
People are so upset over losing this 3.5-inch headphone jack. I think some people are desperate enough to try it.
I get not liking the fact that you can't have a headphone jack. I use the headphone jack all the time.
Yeah.
Best. It isn't the best. It's nothing. I consider it standard.
It's just a thing. But the issue is, let's say you spend money and even these headphones are better, right? These wireless headphones. Headphones are so easy to lose. They're like sunglasses. They're like gloves in the winter. I lose headphones so easy. So I want the ability to go into a store and buy a cheap pair of headphones if I have lost my headphones.
The problem is with headphones and the wire, because I get this, you destroy these constantly.
I know.
They are not, this is not the correct setup. There should be a wireless headphone that you could have.
Sure. That
would make my life so much easier. Now, having said all that, I don't believe anyone's taking the drill and drilling it into their phone. That's something that a crazy old lady would do.
Yeah.
Who doesn't have a phone.
This is like the same crazy old lady who like killed her poodle by putting it in the microwave because she thought she was going to warm it up. These are not going to be normal people.
Right. I didn't know that you could. I never heard that.
Somebody, or yeah, it could have been that, but they said
I always liked the babysitter on LSD where she's like, yeah, I put that turkey in where you were going. What turkey? And then they go in and it's a baby in there.
Oh my God.
That was like one of my first fucking the fuck stories.
Drugs are bad.
Yeah. And I was like, where can I get some acid? If I'm starting seeing babies as baby turkeys, yeah, I want that experience. Do you believe you haven't defended this thing? Yeah. You sent the story.
Yeah.
You believed in it. You're not giving me any reason.
People are commenting online saying that in the comment sections.
And they're getting attention for commenting. Those are trolls.
I don't think... All right, the troll is the person who put the video out. I think that they successfully
the people acting like the video worked are the trolls. No one who owns a fucking drill, right, with a tiny drill bit like that, and they own a phone, is stupid enough to drag that fucking drill into the phone.
In normal circumstances, yes, I understand that. But you don't understand how people are freaking out over not having that.
Then why did they buy the new phone?
And
there's so many other options of phones.
Weeks before it happened, there's not going to be a headphone jack in this. They told everybody.
We knew it was going to be the case.
That's why I'm saying, I don't want that phone.
I need my headphones.
Did she leave yet?
Yeah, probably because that show ends at 1.
That was right before when it happened. It's like 5 minutes off.
Let me go check.
Yeah, why don't you do that? I don't know why my producers don't care. How many people who would buy the iPhone 7 first even have a drill with a tiny drill bit like that?
I'm sure.
That is a tiny drill bit.
I like the point that you made. Like, if you're handy enough to have a power tool with a tiny drill bit and be like, okay, I know how to operate this enough to do this.
Right.
You would also have enough sense not to drill a hole into a phone at a random point.
Because if you notice, you can't even do that without a clamp. So you have to have a workbench to do that. So it means that you know how things work and you just don't drill into a phone.
Look, people just buy Apple products because the new one comes out.
You're missing what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The people who would do this would be savvy enough. Because most people wouldn't have that when they would be trying to drill it in with their hand. I get the fact that not everybody would do it. I'm saying the people who would have the drill and the clamp would know how things work.
I think that there are people who would be dumb enough that if you're like, hey, you know what works if you drill a hole? And they're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And they might be dumb enough to believe you. But again, these would not be handy enough people to pull off this maneuver. I don't think anyone's done it.
Pamela Adlon's walking out right now.
Oh, there she goes.
There she goes. She's adorable. Look, she's stopping and saying hi to people. Love her. Love that show.
Yeah, that show's been
Better
so
Things. Good. I think it might be the best show this year.
You call it Best Things.
It should. But, did you watch the last episode?
I did.
That was fucking great.
It was really good.
Lenny Kravitz. Let me just tell you something. First of all, this is the best thing Lenny Kravitz did. And I'm not even making that up.
I know.
Because he's a wooden actor normally. But he was sexual by not trying to be the sexy guy.
Yes.
And that's why that bit worked.
He is a very sexy guy, but normally it's because he's flaunting it. He's always like shirt open, with the chains,
it's
and he's
fucking
like
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, he does that kind of thing.
It's a mistake for him.
I'm not gonna lie, but this was a very, very sexy version of him.
Here's our friend Mona. Mona, what's up?
Good morning, my very handsome Bennington.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I was calling because I wanted to take a guess to see who raped the Corey, and also to let you know that I went and saw Magnificent Seven.
Well, I don't think that we should guess who raped Corey because, we could be making a mistake with that. But how did you like Magnificent Seven? Was it magnificent?
Yes, it was, actually. And there was actually some great laughs through it, and there was lots of action. I know you were worried about that, but it was action you could actually follow, if that makes sense. It was exactly.
Did they play that?
So I suggest it. I recommend it. Not that I'm anybody.
Jimmy went Metallica today.
Oh, good. I'm glad. He's a big fan, right?
Yeah, he likes the metal music and he likes the Metallica. I saw him at the big Metallica show that we did up in Harlem, and he had a great time that night. That's fantastic. It's always good when it's just you and the band, not you and 6 people in the band.
Yeah. Then you're like, oh, this was just me hanging out with the band. Then you could actually go, what if I was in this band? This is what it would look like.
It's funny you say that. Wayno just wrote, look at the 5th member of Metallica. And sent it to us. That's how I saw it. Wayno, you and Gail think the same.
We're like twinsies.
Louis writing some of these Better Things, right?
Yeah, he is. He's directing them all, right?
Was that right?
I think he is.
It's a good show.
Or maybe at least he might have directed the first 2.
It's a good show.
It is a really, really solid show. She's very funny.
And you know what? Not everybody's going to pick up on this, but the little Californication crossover. Because the Coveney and her worked in Californication together.
Oh, right.
So it's how did you watch Last Man on Earth last night?
I didn't, no.
They did a little crossover with Mad Men.
Really? What was there a crossover?
I don't want to give it away for everybody, but one of the stars came in, and then, you have a star from Mad Men on there.
Right.
All right. What is the Louis C.K. really hates ticket scalpers? This is an interesting story because Louis is trying to stop people from scalping tickets. There's Sandra Bernhardt, who we work with, just waving at us. Love her. Louis is trying to stop people from scalping tickets
and sell them on like reseller sites like StubHub.
Right.
So he sells all of his tickets for his shows. He's on tour right now at $50, all fees included, through his website, louisck.net.
All right. So he handles the sale of the tickets.
Yes. So now when he sees people reselling them on StubHub for higher than face value, he's invalidating all the tickets. And there's a warning he puts on with the ticket purchase from louisck.net.
All right, so let's get this straight. So Louis doesn't want people scalping tickets.
No.
And he sells it off his website.
Yeah.
Now, how can he tell if someone resells it?
I believe that the ticket itself has like a code. He has a way to tell if that ticket was sold.
Okay, let's try to figure out how the code was. All right, I have 2 tickets.
Mm-hmm. I
can't make it. Chris, do you want my tickets?
Yes.
Okay, so I give them to you. You go there. How can he figure out the code?
Does StubHub do physical tickets, or are they only like barcode scan?
It's both. It's both. It depends on what the original seller has.
So let's try to figure out how Louis is able to do this thing. That's what I don't understand. How could he tell that? Because I could buy tickets and give them to my brother, right?
Right.
He goes to the show and is told, "Oh, these are not valid," and he's like, "But my brother gave me these for my birthday." That's what I don't understand about the story.
I think he's okay with it if you're not selling it higher than the face value.
But how is he going to find that out?
Because on StubHub, it says the row, it says the section number. So when you buy the ticket on StubHub, it says everything.
So in other words, you're saying he's not doing it from the door. He's saying, if I see something on StubHub, I'm pulling those tickets.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. So if that's the deal, right? Who's getting punished here? Not StubHub, who has sold the ticket. The person who's getting punished is the person who paid for the ticket.
Right.
I.e., a huge Louis C.K. fan. So you're saying to someone, you like me so much that you will pay 3 times what I paid, so I'm not giving you the ticket.
Right, to guarantee that you're...
Yeah. So you're never hurting StubHub. That's the problem.
And you're never hurting Louis. Like, Louis doesn't lose money by people buying it through StubHub, correct?
Right.
No.
The tickets have been purchased in one way, shape, or form.
I get that nobody wants to see tickets that they sold for $50, they go for $250. I totally get that. I'm not sure how you combat the problem.
Yeah, and is his biggest concern like reputation, like looking as though he benefits from these tickets being
But we
gouged.
all understand how StubHub works. Like when people say, oh, are you going to go see that Broadway play? You could get 2 tickets for $12.50. I don't blame the play on that. I would say it's the marketplace.
Right.
That says what it is. Now, here's the way. Do you ever use StubHub, Chris?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
For what?
For like maybe concert tickets or even Yankee games.
I never use it unless I'm on vacation. For some reason, when I'm on vacation, I'm like, well, it's my only chance to go see this Red Sox game.
Right.
But I would never do that for a Mets or a Yankees ticket. So if I'm in Chicago and I want to go to a Cubs game, I got no problem paying extra money. I don't know why it bothers me to pay extra money in my own town, though.
Right, because you feel like you can go to the source, where when you're traveling, the convenience of going to one place to see all your options is worth paying, let's say, an extra 50, 60, whatever, on top of what you normally would have paid but
you're also using your vacation money.
Right.
So if you're like, oh, I put $8,000 away from my vacation, you don't want to come back with $1,100.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to come back broke.
Yeah.
You know? Because that's your vacation money.
You're like, I saw 3 bad shows.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you go to if you go to Vegas, you're like, money's no object this week. You know, for this 1 week only, money's no object. But see, here's the thing for Louis, is that when you start to battle with these people, right, it takes up so much of what would have been your regular time. And I was alive when Pearl Jam was the biggest band in the world. And then they got caught up in fighting with Ticketmaster and became a cult band that the same people go to see at every show. But they were so mainstream prior to that.
Yeah.
They were carrying that torch of the biggest rock band in the world. And they fought and started playing other weird venues. And now their career is just totally different. I'm not saying they're not having a great life. I'm sure they are. But they're no longer that kind of a band. They're the kind of a band who goes and plays, long shows in front of the same folks who have been to 95 fucking shows. I mean, if there's anything that I would want to stop with this ticket thing, is people who have seen your band too many times. That's a problem.
That'd be great.
All right. John in North Carolina might know how this works. Hey, John.
Hey, Bennington.
Hey.
Okay. First of all, I went to an anti-scalping ticket concert where your ticket number was your driver's license number. So when you showed up to the concert, you had to have matching sets, your driver's license and that ticket. So you couldn't give it away, you couldn't sell it, you couldn't scalp it.
Why? Why is that anybody's business?
How do you gift a ticket then?
Right.
But you stood in line and bought the ticket. You showed them your driver's license number, and then they entered that in as a ticket number and then handed you that ticket number.
Who does this benefit, this behavior benefit, that I could no longer buy my aunt tickets to go see a show? And can you, if I've purchased, let's say from StubHub, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not buying on the street from some fucking kid. I'm going to a legal vendor and buying my ticket legally. How can I be penalized for that?
And you're doing that because you know you're not going to get a fake ticket. I mean, like, that's also a thing, is if you buy them outside, you run the risk of getting not only gouged the price, but also not even a real ticket.
But I'm also going to get the ticket that I want, and I'm willing to pay for it. So if I say I want to be 10 rows back in the middle, or if I say I want to be 20 rows back on the aisle near a fire exit, because some people are like that. They're like, I want to be near the fire exit and I want to be on the aisle because they've seen TV and they get concerned. Why can't that guy go and pay for that right? Who's being hurt by that?
Because even buying tickets in general, if you're buying tickets online from any place, they make it very difficult to pick seating to begin with. So if it's easier to do that on...
You know what? The only way that they don't make it difficult is when they're not selling tickets. When they're not selling tickets, they'll fucking talk to you. Yeah. They'll go through where exactly, like, look, we have orchestra but if these fucking tickets are moving fast, they don't give a shit about
But why do they do that thing where you can't know all the available tickets? They do that thing where you have to refresh, and if you give those seats up.
It's a nightmare.
Why do they do that?
Don't know.
There's pre-sales. There's 4 pre-sales before the things go on sale based on credit card companies and codes and arena things. And the big issue is that the seats end up getting all bought up by ticket bots that buy up hundreds and hundreds of tickets.
This is when the computer goes in and buys it.
Exactly.
So Louis puts his concert on sale and it sells out immediately. And he's like, this, can't be my fans. So why would he care if he's getting what he's asking for? Why is this something he cares about? Maybe he thinks, I'm not going to get any young people at this show. I'm going to get a bunch of middle-aged people who watch my TV show but don't necessarily go to comedy shows. Right. Not really the best laughing audience. And I'm not getting new fans this way. Maybe. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out because he's not saying. I just think it's a dangerous thing when you get yourself caught up in the bureaucracy of this as an artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you spend your time, we were just talking about Metallica.
Yes.
Their fucking drummer, Lars, is now never defined as being a drummer. You know what I mean? He's always the guy who fought the free music download. And there are people that either don't like the band or like Lars in particular because he fucked around on the business side of it. Now, did he have every right to? Obviously. But it changed the perception of
But
him.
there's something a little more clear cut about that argument because you can guarantee that people who are stealing music or downloading music for free is going to make them lose money, where this is a little bit more complex, the reasoning.
Well, the reasoning is my regular fans can't get tickets.
Right.
And I get that. I mean, I agree with him on that. But it's always been bad, even when it was just regular scalpers on the street. the weird thing is, you would think there would be a way to make StubHub pay more than the regular people. Like, okay, I'll be able to sell this to regular people if you buy. Why can't you go back to the old 2 at a time? The computer can still even beat that.
What do you mean?
Just say the maximum of 2 tickets.
No, you could buy. They have like a weird maximum. Like you could buy 12 tickets at a time. You could buy.
What I'm trying to say to you, why not? Can you make it a 2 and blow the computer out, the StubHub computer?
Because you could still set up a bot to go buy quantities of 2.
So they have like hundreds of bots.
Exactly.
They're individual bots getting 2 tickets at a time.
Now you're saying bots is short for robots.
I guess it's more of like a computer program, but they call them bots.
I was hoping that they were.
I'd like to buy 2 tickets for myself.
The robot army keeps buying tickets.
It's my wife's anniversary.
All right, wait. Here's Nick in North Carolina. Nick.
What's
Nick.
up, buddy?
Yeah.
Hey, Ron, I just wanted to make a point that StubHub, Pepper would probably understand this as well as far as fish is concerned, but StubHub it's through a website, but you're legitimately selling your tickets through a website. So if the tickets are taken back, the person selling the tickets is the one penalized, not StubHub.
The tickets aren't taken back. Let's suppose I'm getting so StubHub doesn't buy any of the tickets they're in. They're just the middleman between the seller and the reseller.
Yes.
There's not you don't have to pay to use the service, or is there a service fee?
They take a
percentage. There is a service fee. That's how these bots are found, is because they buy a ton of tickets from, say Fish at Madison Square Garden, and they turn around and put them through StubHub because for some reason StubHub doesn't do any kind of policing of that. So
why should they? They don't give a shit.
Oh, yeah, exactly. They're still making money, but they can take those 1,000 tickets that were at $60 and turn around and sell them for $1,000 a pop and make a shit ton of money.
Yeah, and see, here's the weird thing about that. No one gets mad at that for happening, right? But people would get mad if Louis said, "I'm going to sell X. I'm going to sell the good seats for $1,000." Because you could get them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But would you turn around and kind of hate the artist for that? Because it happens anyway, except for he's not getting the money.
Right. He gets no benefit for the people who are willing to spend extra money to get these tickets.
Yeah.
Either the best tickets or last minute tickets or whatever the reasoning you
But
would
if he did get the benefit,
then you would
like,
get
Louis a dick.
Yeah.
And why is he a dick? If he's selling tickets at market value.
And people are willing to pay for it.
Yes, that would be the market value. Then it would lower if people was like, I don't want to pay for this. He goes, okay, then what about 50?
Well, that sounds more reasonable.
I think the dangerous part of it is when you're the guy who wants to fix stuff, right? And it's also a thing of the people acting like this, we're set up in this capitalist system, right? Where it's worth it to me, and has always been worth it to me, even when I was a kid, to not be the guy that has to stand in the line, or not has to be the guy who's getting up, oh, please let me get those fucking 2 tickets.
Yeah.
Please, let me get them right now. I got an anniversary coming up. But if you wanted to see Sinbad at What's Your Fucking Deal, that's going to be a big fucking ticket price.
I would want to see that.
So let's go around. Let's see if you try to fucking do this. What would you do if you were Louis?
I'd let them StubHub sell the tickets.
You would let them sell the tickets.
Yeah.
This is why no one likes you as much as they like Louis. What would you do?
I like the fight that he's putting against.
You do like the fight?
Yeah, because the reason he's doing it,
even though it seems to me like it's going to be a losing battle.
But the reason he's doing it is because he puts his tickets so much cheaper than most people. Like his stand-up show tickets are like $25 to $50, as opposed to like other shows that face values like $80 to $100. So the reason he's fighting it is because he wants to keep it at that low price. Like that's why he sells his specials for $5 a piece.
Right.
Because he's more interested in, I want to make it fair. So
I think
I like it.
Using those types of methods, you usually end up benefiting the artist more rather than, the kind of situation where you set up a system where you have X amount of tickets that are available for very cheap, or you do things that are for fans that only they can access, stuff like that. I mean, for example, Broadway shows use that with student discounts, or they use the kind of like, if you're out in the line the day of,
the tickets line,
you can do like, cheap tickets where those seats would have been hundreds of dollars, but then you get in for like $20.
Yeah, but see, here's the problem I have with that. You get that benefit because you're young and either unemployed or have such a shitty job that you can be out there. I mean, there's a benefit to being young and being willing to sleep on the fucking street.
Right. So this way, there's not a complete disadvantage. You have a younger group that would be willing to do that, and then you have the kind of people who, have enough money to stay at home and buy tickets for a good price, and everybody kind of wins.
Another reason why those people have that money is because they're not going out every fucking night and spending a fucking C-note to get drunk. You know what I mean? There are people who just go, I only go out occasionally for the shows that I really love to go to. And other people are like, hey, I go to shows every night. They're not this expensive. Well, you get to go to shows every night. You're living a fucking different life. I'm not going to sit around and feel sorry for you because you want to go out and party and go to shows every night of the week.
But in the case of if you're just young and you just have a crap job, then you would have no possibility of going to see it because you don't have the budget for it anyway.
But I'm saying the reason why they don't have the budget is they're not saving for the Louis show. They're going out every night. Anybody could save up and get these tickets. But these people, and I see them every weeknight, they are out. Every fucking night, 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're fucking raising the roof and jumping around. I'm sorry you're not going to the Louis show.
I think Louis picked the wrong fight. He should be figuring out how to beat these bots, is the problem.
How could you beat the bots, though?
That's the question.
See, I like what you're saying.
We got to beat these fucking bots back.
But see, we can't just say that. That's like saying we got to turn off the sun. I mean, we got to figure out a way to do that. If you got one, Chris, if you can figure this out, we'll fucking make a fortune in the rock and rap business as well as electronic dance. We won't even care about comedy.
Listen, we got to figure out. You got to know that if the same people are fucking buying tickets constantly over and over and over and over again, there's got to be a way to figure out they're buying it too quickly.
You're waging a war against the machines.
Yeah,
it is literally a machine war. Eric, you're on Bennington.
Hey, Bennington. So there's a service, and I'm sure it's everywhere, called Flash Seats. I believe it's part of Ticketmaster. And when you purchase tickets, like we just had tickets for Def Leppard a couple weeks ago, and when I bought the tickets earlier in the year, right away it popped up on this Flash Seats app, and I could resell them, but they don't let you mark the tickets up. They will only let you resell for face value. And I thought that was a pretty good, that's a pretty good idea. It kind of screws with some of these scalpers.
Yeah, but there's only one, what I'm saying is, it doesn't mean that everybody's going to react that way.
What Chris brought up with Fish, when Fish played here in Denver over Labor Day weekend, there was a company that was reselling tickets, and you could buy them on Craigslist and Backpage, but you had to physically go and pick the tickets up. They were not doing them electronically.
See, I don't know if I want to do that either. I mean, what's the whole point of this if I have to act like it's Led Zeppelin in 1975? Which, by the way, I got my friend to fucking sleep overnight.
Nice.
He fucking bought the tickets, and guess what I showed up with? A little something to make the fucking night go better. Now, best part of it, you would have thought I got over, but I had to sit and listen to fucking Led Zeppelin for hours on end. Ugh. Thudding, thunderous nothing. Look, that Def Leppard show you was talking about.
Yeah.
Those tickets were on sale for $50, right? I went to StubHub. I was able to get front row seats for $2.50.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I bought up the first row, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I've never seen this Modern Family on TV, so I didn't go.
Really?
I saw pictures that there was just an empty front row, and that made me feel good.
That made you feel good?
Yeah. I mean, it cost like $25.
People didn't get to see it.
Who was there, Chris? Follow the fucking story. It was Def Leppard. Liebing, globbing, globing, bump, bump. Here's John, Wichita.
Hey, Dave Chappelle came to town, and he made you had to buy your tickets online with a credit card, and then you don't even get tickets. When you show up, you had to give the credit card that they were purchased with, and it printed your tickets out that night of the show. So you couldn't sell them, and the person that bought them had to be there.
No, my only problem, and first of all, that's a way to beat the scalpers. But now you're making me, your fan, stand in line at the fucking place with my credit card out and taking time. And you're making my life a little harder because you don't like resellers. And I think, here's the fucking perfect example. Do the resellers, StubHub or anything, do they add to society, or do they make society worse? If they add to society, then you can't bitch about it. If they make society worse, then maybe we need a law like we used to have that you can't scalp tickets. Yeah. That's why this thing initially went in to let them do it, because we couldn't beat the ticket scalpers. You couldn't beat somebody going, I got 4 for the Rolling Stones. Right? I'm trying to remember who did that. It's driving me fucking crazy. I got 2 for the Rolling Stones. He actually said it started at his driveway all the way to the show. I think that most shows you see the need tickets people more than the got tickets people.
100%. I think outside of sporting events too. It's just how it is.
People just walking around hoping to find scalpers.
Well, when I thought that was from StubHub, but I can't be 100% correct. Cubs tickets. They had an office set up across the street from fucking Wrigley. They were in Wrigleyville. And we just walked up, picked up our tickets, and walked across the street.
Yeah.
So it's not like they don't know that they're there.
Oh, no, there's a StubHub office down the block from Yankee Stadium. I mean, yeah, they're all in on it.
So
who's in on it?
With StubHub and the venues. Yeah.
So you believe that the Yankees like the fact that there's a StubHub?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Why?
Because it creates it's a secondary market that makes people want to buy the tickets more.
Yeah, but if I don't make any money off a secondary market, I don't want it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, maybe it was they realized it popped up quickly. They couldn't beat it. So in order to make things convenient for the people who are just getting it through them to begin with, it doesn't really benefit them, but it doesn't hurt them either.
The Yankees, they're the one team, they really don't like StubHub. They demand people go through their own service. The StubHub location is just its own place that rented out a shop.
Okay, it has nothing. So he's not running a place from the Yankees.
Okay.
Chris Stanley's guzzling water because he knows that he got caught in another lie.
There's one by Madison Square Garden for people. It's just to go pick up tickets.
Here is Ryan, Nashville.
Hey, Ron.
Hey.
Hey, is there a chance that he's just doing it to kind of put the fear of God into him? Because I remember Kevin Hart did that thing where if you took your cell phone out, you would just get kicked out immediately. And there were stories every night about hundreds of people getting thrown out. But I've never actually heard a story about Louis turning somebody away at the door, and he's been doing this since at least 2012.
Oh, I didn't know he's been doing it for a long time because we just saw this story. Well, let's say the part of Kevin Hart. He is selling that tour that he did as a movie, and that's happening very soon. So I totally get that you don't want people videotaping the show.
Right.
Also, no one wants to see your YouTube video of Kevin Hart, and you're in fucking nosebleed seats. It stinks.
A tiny, blurry Kevin Hart.
Yeah. Who's saying you better put down that fucking cell phone?
But that's where you can see, that's a fight that you can see the exact reason why it negatively affects the artist. It's a little bit more difficult to figure out what is it specifically that he doesn't like about it.
Well, he doesn't like the fact that I think that he feels like he's protecting his audience. Actual audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this isn't the relationship. He wants to have a relationship with his audience where he's saying, I know that you guys don't make as much money as me. I'm out doing this tour, and I could be making more money, and I'm choosing not to.
Right.
To ensure you that your loyalty has meant a lot to me. And I get that. Right. He has every right to have that relationship with his audience. He's every right to say, you guys have been with me for 12 years, and I hope you're with me for another 12 years. And I don't want to gouge you now that things are super hot. I think it's important to say to the audience, I know that you see me as successful, but that doesn't mean that I've changed in our relationship. I'm not going to charge you guys $200 just because I've had some hit shows. And I have one of those hit shows with Pamela Adlon, and everybody from the Bennington show got excited just to see her walk past. Because she's adorable, and she's funny, and she's cool. And cool is a very rare commodity these days. Here's Sean. Sean, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? I don't think it's against StubHub or anything like that, just the individual person trying to make money off of Louis C.K.'s name.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's... I think it's closer for him trying to be positive to his fans than negative to anyone. I saw this Chris Pratt thing the other day, and he is signing people... He's signing shit for people that he knows are going to resell the picture. So there's also this market in between autograph collectors and autograph seekers. And autograph seekers are not going to see Chris Pratt because they're a giant Chris Pratt fan. There are people that hang out at LAX who have nothing but 8x10s. So if they look up and it's Pamela Adlon, they reach into their bag and they take out Pamela Adlon. They're not there to see Pamela, right? But they will say, here, sign this, knowing that they could resell that for $25 or $50.
Right. What's interesting about that, right? So if you're going to be the type of artist that you like, okay, you see that these are people who just get signatures for no reason. These aren't your fans. These are just people who are going to benefit. You're not taking money, like them making money off this isn't taking money away from you. It's like by signing it, you're just creating $50 that wouldn't exist, which is kind of strange.
Well, unless you said, look, I'm just going to sit and sign this and have my secretary sell them online. But that would be considered kind of creepy, right?
Right.
If you had to pay $50 for a thing, and yet you're still paying $50 for it.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts. And Chris Pratt, he's like signing. He finally gets in the car, starts to pull away. Some guy that didn't get some sign is like, what an asshole. Fucking Pratt says, what? Fucking comes out of the thing. He goes, look, I just gave you guys money, basically, is what he said. And now you're going to call me an asshole? And he was, as nice as that man is, this is as angry as you ever saw him.
Right.
I kind of get the idea he's a dude that you don't want to fuck with anyway. He's from the Northwest. He was a wrestling guy in school. I'm sure he can handle his own. There's plenty of nice guys that I've seen lose their shit and fuck people up. And I'm watching this on TV and I'm like, lose your shit, fuck them up. And that was just for my own entertainment.
Yeah, not because he deserved it.
Keep hitting his head on the sidewalk until he's dead. And then look at your own bloody hands and go, what have I done? That's how far I wanted to see him go with it. I don't know what it is about those guys. Guys that just do that annoy me more than weird fans that just collect.
Yeah, because weird fans are, at least there is some heart in it,
Even if
they're
the person.
Yeah. And that they get some sort of pleasure after, that means something to them. The other ones are just like vultures.
Heartless.
Bill Rockland.
Hey, what's up, Bennington?
Hey.
You ever hear of what Billy Joel does in his concerts?
He sings Piano Man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he does do that, but he buys out the first 2 rows of every concert and sends his employees out into the nosebleeds and swaps out those tickets. So you'll have an employee with, the Billy Joel backstage pass come up to you and say, what kind of tickets do you have? Oh, we're up in the 300 section. And they'll say, we'll swap these tickets out with you. Just come up and you'll be in the first or second row of the concert.
Well, another reason why that would make sense if you were Billy Joel is that you want to see people react to your music so then you perform better.
Yeah.
You want to have people that can sing along with Angry Young Man because they've been a fan for a long time, or a new fan who goes as back as far as they can. Not people just sitting there because they're rich and staring at you.
Right. The idea of like, in the MTV shows when they give a bunch of tickets to young people to put right in front of the stage, because if you're going to just have Rihanna sitting in the front row watching another pop star just being like, eh.
By the way, that thing that you're talking about, from what I understand, those are actually paid performers.
Those are actors, yeah.
Yeah, those are more or less extras.
Not even fans. Or they could be. They might
or like
be
super,
fans.
like
they're
in the
acting
Super Bowl.
like they're fans.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you tell the difference between? I'll tell you now. Tell the difference. A fucking fan wouldn't go as crazy as the people who were at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Or in a case of MTV, if you're going to go crazy for Green Day when they come out, you're not also going to go crazy for Taylor Swift, but it's the same group of people.
And not jump around. And also, fans are not as attractive as those people that they put up front.
You can't be a fanatic.
No.
That means you're a fanatic of yourself.
There's a website called One Iota that that's where you get the drawings for all of those things, and you have to upload like a picture, and you have to upload like your weight, your height, and all this stuff to get into the MTV Awards and everything.
No fatties.
We don't want to see any sweaty fatties in the front row.
I'm sorry, fat stuff. You won't be going to Taylor Swift.
Because then somebody would be watching TV and go, "Oh, fat people like Taylor Swift. I don't like Taylor Swift."
Throw out.
Have you ever noticed how fat her fans are? Forget it.
She's the worst.
I don't think there's any way around this. I think I think he's spitting into the wind on this one. Ian, Calgary, what's up?
Hey, Ron. I have to agree with you. I think this is all about protecting his fans. It's stopping the professional scalper, the guy that buys a block of 50 seats with no intention of going to the show himself. And, if he sells 30 out of the 50, he's made more than his money back. And then you end up at all these concerts. You always see it. 200 seats that are empty. And you're like, how is this a sold-out concert with 200 empty seats?
I know, that's what kills you.
Scalpers have not sold all the tickets that they bought. They bought a block of 50, and there's 20 or 30 of these guys in every city that have done that. And at the end of the day, it ends up with like 200, 300 empty seats in this place at a sold-out concert.
It's very strange, and that kind of thing happens all the time. And I've been to events that are just one-time only events, right? And I'm not. I'll just say, let's suppose that you find out that Simon and Garfunkel are going to do a one-time event at the Beacon, and things like that happen. You go there and you're like, I can't believe this. But then you look around and you see a lot of people who don't seem to be getting that. And you're like, oh, why aren't, the biggest fans in the world? Oh, because some marketing company got these to a corporation and they gave them out to their best clients. So even in situations like that, you are not with the people who would enjoy it the most.
Yeah, you can't guarantee.
Right. Like there might be a night that Menudo was getting back together.
Yeah.
Now somebody could say to me, Ron, you got to go to this event. It's for Sirius XM. Menudo's getting back together. I would go there. I wouldn't get it, but think of the people that would kill to be there that night.
You wouldn't be crying,
right?
Screaming Menudo.
Yeah. Like I've gotten so many times in my life, I've been first fucking row for wrestling tickets. And I was thinking, how do I get the fuck out of here? I feel like I've been in enough events. And they're like, no, you can't. You've got to wait for the main event. I'm like, the main event? But think of how many people would die to be in those seats.
Absolutely.
And have their sign up,
But even when, a band does a secret show, there are people who go to those because they're just good at figuring out what
secret shows.
Yeah, but that doesn't really mean your biggest fans. That just means like people who are savvy on figuring out what the secret show is.
Metallica's doing one soon, and I don't even like Metallica, and I almost signed up for it just to go.
Dude, they're right here. You can't yell. I don't even like Metallica.
I said that
they're
much.
Here.
They're coming in.
That much is not what someone's going to...
I love Metallica.
Oh, yo, he says he doesn't like us that much. So.
I'm going to go out there and introduce you. This is Vito. He doesn't like you that much, but he doesn't dislike you. Would you mind taking a picture with him?
And that's the fucking thing. But it's never going to be fair. Like I said to you, the person, you could be the biggest fan ever, but you can't sleep out for 3 days, right?
Yeah.
So even just making it where it's first come, first serve doesn't work because some fucking idiots will become first come, first serve fans. Like there's people who go to Star Wars movies and fucking camp out for a movie so they can be known as the people who camp out.
Yeah.
Not because they like Star Wars. Here is, let's go to Darren. Darren, what's up, buddy?
What up, Ronnie B? Hey, man, I was just wanting to side with you that he's spitting into the wind, man. I mean, it's the fans' money. They're pulling off the credit card and buying it. So if they want to pay an extra $100 for a show, it is what it is, man. You can't dictate your fans, right?
I mean, there's some people who will gladly pay an extra $100 not to go through all the kind of shit. It doesn't mean anything to them. It doesn't necessarily make them a worse fan than the person who doesn't have the money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are fans of anyone who's hot that aren't going to stay fans. Dane Cook is a perfect example of that. There are so many people who went to Dane Cook shows that weren't comedy fans or just got turned on to Dane Cook. They didn't stay with him in the way his true fans did.
Yeah.
So who's the real fan? Who are you looking out for? How do you figure that out? I don't know.
There's no way to figure it out.
There's got to be, though. I mean, at the end of the fucking day.
You have to take a quiz.
Oh, I got to ask you guys this. Did you see this fucking documentary that came out of the weekend, Gringo? I think it's the John McAfee or something. What is the guy who you always see his name when you used to buy computers?
McAfee, the guy that was down South America.
John McAfee.
John McAfee.
Central America. He was in Belize. I ain't going to tell you anything about it. It's the nuttiest fucking documentary since Jump.
Oh, shit. I mean, I heard...
Shit goes down in that documentary that I could not believe.
Holy... Is it Vice? Because I know Vice was down there shooting stuff with him.
That was years ago. Vice is the one that when he was accused of some stuff, their GPS gave it away where he was located at and caused him a lot of problems. I think this woman might have worked for Vice before, but that isn't the part of it that matters. The story itself, or whether any of this story it's a very one-sided story. I'll put it that way.
Right.
He did not get involved in the telling of the story. He didn't want to. And his side of the story definitely isn't being told. I can say that much. But there's some shit like I couldn't believe.
Well, he's always seemed like a madman. Like, any story you've heard about John McAfee is fucking crazy.
I heard all the stories before. This is far further south than I'd ever imagined.
Is it on Netflix?
No, it's on Showtime.
Okay.
He's going to write that down and circle it. Just the word Showtime.
No, and Gringo.
Go to StubHub, see if they got a copy.
$400.
I used to know professional ticket scalpers like this that used to give me tickets because I was on, a certain show and they listened every day, and they would just say, "Hey, do you want tickets to this?" We've seen a lot of in South Florida.
Yeah,
a lot of the baseball and all that, football, basketball, you name it. They would be partying up at every fucking night. Every night. They were partying it up with their tickets. Like, to them, life was, the tailgate was as important. And that's why you go to a lot of these places. Well, look at the Eagles fans now.
Yeah.
That has changed so much when I was younger. There used to be blue-collar people at those fucking games. There isn't anymore.
No, it's a corporate gathering.
It's also that really hurts your home field advantage. Home field advantage doesn't mean as much as it used to. You used to go to fucking RFK Stadium when you played the Redskins. They had this shitty old stadium. People would jump up and down that the fucking stadium itself would be shaking.
Right.
Shaking.
You got to make your home intimidating for people to come into.
It was fucking scary as shit. You'd go into the vet and people would be like, all right, we're playing the Eagles. We're going to beat them easy. But we've got to get in and out of this place alive. We've got to be able to keep the team alive. You don't find that anymore because the people who go to games are talking about deals. They're not interested in the game. You ever watch a Super Bowl and you're like, do these people care?
There's no
It's the
sharing.
Super Bowl? They're just sitting and watching a game. They don't mean anything. They're probably not even gambling on the fucking game. And I do blame that on the prices. If you want to you're a Mets fan, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say a guy wants to come in from Long Island, go to a Mets game. Parking, tickets, decent tickets, not, Jerry Seinfeld, Amy Schumer tickets, decent tickets. Hot dogs, whatever. What's that going to cost them?
Over 100, because parking's like 30. You want to get decent tickets, 30, and then hot dogs.
He's taking a family of 4.
So like total, that's going to cost you a few $100s.
Few hundred. He was not even going to give me a fucking price here.
I'll tell you how much. That's cost $600-$700 minimum.
No way. You're crazy.
That's crazy. No, I mean, you want to have a good time.
No, you're not.
He started that with, I'll tell you.
I'm going to say $300.
It was a figure that wouldn't be true of anything.
Right.
I'm going to say $300.
It's never going to be $600-$700.
$300.
By the way, I think like a lot of parking at football games is like $75 now. $75, but you're fucking
LA Rams. It was like going up 100, 180.
And then you can rent spaces for your trailer, and you buy that as if it's a rental for the year, so you can have
where
a
you
party
can park.
there. Yeah, so you can sit and
tailgate. Yeah,
that's fucking big money now. And there's nothing I hate worse than tailgating.
I've never really
despise it.
I've never really done it. I've walked through it, and I've seen people doing it.
I don't want to eat barbecue next to exhaust. I don't want to be 7 hours before the fucking game starts. I don't know why people can't act like TV isn't better. I'm trying to wake up 5 minutes before the game starts.
That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a 4:30 game.
Unbelievable.
And then it's like,
yeah.
Then you put it on your phone, you're hanging out in your apartment watching
No.
it.
That's what I do. I'm texting back and forth. Fuck you.
Thursday Night Football is just being streamed on Twitter now. It's amazing.
All right. Fez says, Johnny could make it up to me by tweeting out a pic of himself dressed as a leprechaun in Times Square. I'm not sure.
I think he should do it.
Cares.
I think he should do it. Johnny, make this right.
I'm not sure that Johnny cares because he was laughing his ass off about it. I don't think Johnny cares whether people like him or not. Here's Don in Philly. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Ron, how are you?
Good, man.
Good. Listen, I'm just calling. I used to sit in the vet for 22 years, and it was a great place to be. We knew all the people in the section, but what happened was when they built the new stadium, they came in with this personal seat license deal, and it priced the worker, man, right out of the stadium. You can't even afford, it's $20 to park there. It's outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, they have done away with those kinds of fans in every town. First of all, years ago, somebody that was considered, upper class wouldn't go to a fucking football game or a hockey game.
Yep.
They would be fucking afraid they'd get their ass beat for being so rich. And now it's just the opposite. They own it. They turn everything into a club. It would be better if these people weren't sweating. We got a break here, Chris?
Yes, we do.
I feel like I got something else I should be promoting before I go to break. Can't be. I must be making something up in my fucking brain again, Chris. I'll tell you how much, Ron. $600-$700.
I'll tell you. I'm not like this fucking idiot. 600.
I'm bringing my family to a baseball game.
What are they drinking?
A lot of that's going to be booze for me.
You don't have. You say that you quit drinking. Have you still?
I have still quit drinking. It's getting
tough, right? But when it comes to you bringing up your family, right?
Yeah.
You realize there's not a living member of your family.
I'm saying hypothetically, if I had a wife and children.
I'm saying this without being hypothetical.
So bad
I've never met another human being without a living relative.
It's fine.
I know adopted people who know their living relatives.
Yeah, they like to rub that in my face, don't they?
That's nothing personal to you. It's a normal thing.
Whatever.
Like if I said, "Oh, that person's breathing oxygen," it isn't against you. It's what humans do. Humans have relatives.
Whatever. Stanley names fucking dies with me. It's fine. I'm okay with that.
What about your family that you're taking to the football game?
Hypothetical. Baseball game. Football game, fucking 1,200.
You're out of your mind. You're seriously out
I mean, I want to have a good time when I'm at the game. I want to spend a little bit.
You realize that you're sounding like Paulie more and more, right? I'm going to have to cut off your thumb. You don't even know how to spend money. I went to the Shylocks for $500. Is that Rebecca?
Yeah, it's Rebecca.
Let's break and bring her back in because the Red Clay Comedy Festival is happening Thursday, September 29th through Saturday, October 1st in Atlanta, Georgia. Colin Quinn, Roy Scovel, Clayton English will be headlining the festival. RedClayComedy.com for tickets. Hey, the Red Clay Comedy Festival is happening this Thursday, September 29th through Saturday, October 1st in Atlanta, Georgia. Rory Scovel and Clayton English will be headlining the festival. RedClayComedy.com for tickets. And our friend Rebecca Trent is in studio with us. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta. I can't believe I just said that.
Why? Yes. It's been a while since anyone did.
Probably decades. We're bringing it back.
Yeah. I think Fatlanta even came in after that with a PH. But why are you leaving your empire?
My nest.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that Gilbert Lawn put together last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's a comedian out of Atlanta, and he loves the scene down there so much. And they have such a popping like what would you call it? Like an independent scene that it kind of made sense for us to corral it into a festival energy. There isn't really any festivals down there. There's a contest, but it's not really a festival. They call it a festival.
That place for decades and decades has been Punchline Country. It was always the Punchline. Going to Atlanta to the Punchline is where almost every Southern comic came out of. And then they moved, and then of course that was a more kind of corporate era,
right?
Where now people like yourselves have turned this business on its side.
Well, there's a sort of merging independent scene that Relapse Theater is sort of the head of now. That's coming out of Atlanta, and they've had like T.J. Miller and Nick Vatterott, and they're going to have Bargatze on soon. There's a bunch of really great comics that are coming through it, and I think that it sort of like lends itself to a good fun time.
Where Roy Scovel is going to be headlining, and I don't know if there's anyone funnier.
I don't know if there's anyone funnier either. He's one of the most amazing guys on the planet. So funny.
And, I always look at a guy like that and go, where did that even come from? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, a lot of people, you can see their family tree, like, oh, I'm sure that, if you look back and you're like, oh, David Brenner, that begat Seinfeld, which begat Gaffigan, you could kind of
follow. Can't really follow his link.
He kind of came out of the ether.
No, there's something.
He's the one comic in the country that I feel like every comedy scene claims him. Seattle says that Roy's from Seattle. Yeah. DC says that Roy's from DC. Atlanta says it's absolutely incredible. Everybody thinks Roy's from there.
Well, another person they do that with is T.J. Miller.
Yeah,
I've heard 4 different cities.
That's
and
true.
then I've also heard T.J. claim that he's from 4 different cities. You know what I mean? Because when he's there, he feels like
home. That's
right. It feels like home to him.
That's right. Everywhere's a homecoming.
We were talking about your buddy Big J. He's got his show up in Toronto this week.
Yeah, they're doing What's Your Fucking Deal up there.
And Sinbad was on his show.
He was indeed on the show last night, from what I understand.
For quite some time.
Apparently, it was quite the set.
Yeah.
And a half.
Now, some people might think, oh, Sinbad's up there too long. That would never happen to me. I would just think to myself, I can't believe I'm sitting here.
I get more Sinbad.
Yeah, more Sinbad.
More Sinbad.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's great.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I texted
too.
Christine this morning and asked her if Sinbad was still on stage.
It's still
at 11 a.m.
Killing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the laughter was real or not.
Yeah.
Through teeth.
After a while, it just becomes madness. Like you're laughing at the madness.
Sinbad's one of the sort of legendary storied comedians that comics say has never bombed. Has never once in their entire lives gone on stage and bombed.
I brought this up, and some people don't believe me when I say it. The person that I saw kill the most on stage in my life was Sinbad, where I literally saw people in pain, gasping
just
for air.
Laughing.
Some people were just laying down and acting like they were swimming, but it was up an aisle. It would be really just pulling out hair.
Just testifying.
Yeah. But there's always like a lot of black comics will say like, oh, it's tougher for a black comedian. And it probably is until it isn't. You know what I mean?
And then it's the best.
I think a lot of white audiences are just like, I am just enjoying.
Just love it.
Yeah,
Laugh it up.
And then I would yell, oh, it's true. We do walk that way. I do think it's fun.
You got my number.
Yeah. I do use the salad fork. Well, this is a very cool thing because Atlanta, which, by the way, a lot of people up north may think because it's in a red state, it's a conservative
Not
place.
really.
Yeah.
Dirty South.
We're doing the festivals in Midtown and Little Five Points, which is both. I mean, like there are tiny little Austin, Texases popping up in every city. Do you know what I mean? There's little enclaves of like hipsterdom or whatever. 5 Points and Little 5 Points and Midtown is like are both really great areas that have like great that aren't rednecky deep south feeling.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm also from Virginia, so I'm a little bit immune to it. I know how to make
What
sweet
part
tea.
of Virginia?
I'm a military brat. But my grandparents and great grandparents lived in the Tidewater area in Portsmouth, Norfolk, that area. But
That's actually more south than a lot of places.
It's pretty
in Virginia.
south. It's pretty south.
Well, people were like, well, Virginia's not that far south. So I'm like, they were the capital. You know what I mean?
We were the capital, and I also got a degree from Radford University, which is in the mountains in the south.
Oh, yeah.
So I was from all over.
But, the South will always have that scene where, a lot of people show up Sunday morning for church, but they also show up Saturday night. And kick out the jams. There's always been a gay scene in the South, too. Always.
Oh, for sure. Of course.
There's nothing better than a Southern gay.
I know.
Like nothing is better.
Why is that? There's a confidence level.
There's a confidence and like just a general sassafras.
But you know what?
Very nice.
Because they have Tennessee Williams to use as their guy.
Right.
Because they're like the only ones who can still pull off that that accent doesn't exist anymore, but that the type that would be like, I do declare.
Yeah, right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like they can still do that.
They
even
like
though
outrage.
It's totally. Well, I never.
Yeah, they like outrage, and that works. There's something scandalous that's
and
taking
a
place.
seersucker suit in the South.
I
It's
know
like
that
the
works.
best look. A gay man in a seersucker suit.
We were bringing up Tennessee Williams. I was down in Key West, and they swear to me that in a bar down there that he came in one night, was drunk, in just his robe and just started helicoptering his dick. And I'm like, that would have been the greatest night
I didn't think I could love him more.
my life. That would have been it for me.
Amazing.
Yeah. Key West was always one of those further south than the South places. That was just until I think even maybe the past 10 years, 15 years is when it stopped being almost fucking scary. It used to be so much fun. It used to be so crazy. The Red Clay Comedy Festival is happening this Thursday, September 29th through Saturday, October 1st in Atlanta. Rory Scovel, Clayton English, and more headlining the festival. Redclaycomedy.com. creek.com for tickets and more information. But you've been involved in a lot of festivals, and it seems like no one likes them more than the comics because they get a chance to see each other.
Well, it's true. It's like our reunion. We get to finally have a spring. I haven't seen Rory in years, and one of my favorite shows he ever did at the Creek was he literally put on a church sermon for comedians, and it was like him in a robe, like doing a thing, and it literally popped up on Facebook today as like a 5-year memory. And I haven't seen him in probably about 2 years, so it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about it. But it feels like a class reunion.
Well, your club, the Creek and the Cave, you give a lot of people stage time even before they're ready.
They should have it. Yeah.
And then those are the people who never forget you.
Well, I mean, some of them forget. I'd say. Yeah. So that does happen from time to time. They're not elephants, they're people. I mean, it's really amazing, like being able to go, the people that I came up with, like Rory Scovel and Eric Andre and Sean Patton and Donald Glover. Like last night I was watching Atlanta, just like losing my mind because the show is so brilliant. And it's really amazing to be able to see where everybody has gone from those first sort of awkward moments on stage at the Creek.
Isn't that the strangest thing, that it's very rare for someone to walk up and be themselves, their comedic selves at first? It happens occasionally. It happens, some very, very famous cases of people who have pulled it off, but it's so rare.
It is. I mean, for the most part, it's a birthing process that's very awkward, and sort of watching people go through their terrible twos at the Creek is it's an interesting job for sure.
Do you occasionally have to say to someone, "Look, you're really just not"?
I've definitely pulled people into conversations where I've asked them to explain to me why what they do is comedy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's sort of like an ongoing conversation that, I mean, I think that every topic has to be explored. Nothing's sacred. I think that everybody sort of goes through a period with comedy where they're pushing buttons and exploring boundaries and stuff. But sometimes people tend to sort of land more towards like the motivational speaker rather than the comedian. So I've had those conversations, but I don't think it's my place to tell anybody whether or not what they're doing, like if they should be doing it or not. But I will pull people aside and tell them to stop drinking, though.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. Because it's so easy to be a lush in this scene.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously, because at first it might help to have a pop or two before you go on
not only
stage.
that, but you get paid in beer cans.
Yeah.
So,
but after a while, you're like, are you here for that buzz?
And then
are you here for the party, or are you here for the work?
It's not just like the nerves, but then you spend time there, right? Like you're around comedy every night, and you're like, not that you're not enjoying yourself, but like, exactly. So you're like, well, if I'm going to stand here and I'm going to, stand at the back of the room, I'm going to have a drink in my hand.
Yeah. Well, some people aren't mean drunks, so it's harder to say that they have a problem.
Well,
that's exactly right.
Time,
they're just the most fun, happy drunks you could ever hang out with.
They're like happy dog drunk.
Yeah.
Where they're just like slobbering and you're like, oh, he's a good boy,
adorable.
though.
I'm going to pour him into a cab.
Dude, I'm stealing the term happy dog drunk because that's so funny. I know those people. I've always admired them.
That's Mark Normand. He's a happy drunk.
Yeah,
he's fun when he gets sauced. He's fun to hang out with.
And yet, sooner or later, people are like, he's still doing that happy dog thing.
Well, I mean, but it's interesting to watch. Like, I feel like everybody grows out of it after a while, but there are some comics that are sort of comedic elders that still drink, and they blow my mind. I don't know how they still do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how they still hold on, because for the most part, I mean, everybody's pretty much dry.
Yeah,
at in the beginning, nobody is.
At the beginning, you're supposed to be drinking, and then it gets less and less tolerable for society every year leading up to it. Really, some of the great partiers quit completely because it only takes one really
bad experience.
Yeah, I mean, the fact to black out on stage is so frightening.
That's terrifying to me.
Like, what did I say? Something bad?
There's nothing worse than coming out of a blackout and not knowing what you've just done the last 10 minutes.
I didn't know that there was any other way to drink. I had no idea from when people are like, oh, at this age I got blackouts. I'm like, I think the first week of drinking,
Yes.
I blacked out, and I thought that was part of the fun.
You're like, that's how you drink. But it's bad to black out, and it's a scary feeling when you don't know what you've done. But fuck those people who try to tell you what you have done. You're like, no, let me tell you, it's not that bad. And you're like, whatever you think you're going to tell me is not that bad.
Do you know? But you know what?
I'm going to kill myself after you
What
say
about
it.
this? When Crimmins was back here, he's like, "Hey, you and I were supposed to get together in Montreal," and I'm like, "Barry, you don't remember?"
Barry, we hung out in Montreal all
and
week.
I told him that, and I saw the fear in his eyes.
It started to dawn on him
before he.
Barry had a show at the Creek last week, and I had a party to go to, and I was like, "Well, he had just done the show; it was great." And I was like, "I gotta run to this party, so I'll see you later." We hug goodbye because I didn't think I was gonna see him again. I come back, he's still at the Creek. I get back down in there, and it was like one of those. It was a Jay and Christine party, so it was called Pornapalooza, and everybody was wearing like slutty dresses and all that stuff. And I come in, and he's with this very sweet lady who is just hammered from here. Like she was probably in her like late 40s, 50s, and she was hammered. Like I had not seen that level and at that age in a long time, you know. And Barry just pieced out, stuck me with her, like went and jumped in the car and ran away. It was absolutely hilarious. Well, he was a lot of fun. He was fun in Montreal, but like it did definitely. Montreal is exceptional though. Like it's such a party. Mm-hmm. It's like a big. It's people bring out their vices at Montreal that they don't normally do in other towns.
And it's
stuff.
so overwhelming. Like, I did not expect to, when I got there, to just be like, oh, everyone I know is here. And they're like, what are you doing tonight? What are you doing? And you're like, oh my God. It's very overwhelming.
Everyone tells me how much fun you were in Montreal. Everyone says, oh, she dances, she sings, she skips rope.
I didn't see any rope skipping.
I did so much rope skipping. Oh, I'm joyful.
Exactly. A bundle of it.
Rebecca Trent is here with us, and she's an iconic person in the New York comedy scene, which is almost an impossible thing to pull off, particularly so young. But you are involved in the Red Clay Comedy Festival in Atlanta, Thursday the 29th through Saturday, October 1st.
So excited.
The great Roy Scovel is going to be there, which, by the way, every time that I meet him and he does the show, I expect it to be crazy on stage guy. So it's always weird.
He's like
when
a real person.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. And I'm like, what is this bit? What do you want to? RedClayComedy.com for tickets. This is another thing that I think Rory is amazing at, and certain comics are. They're really good actors.
Oh, yeah.
Really good actors. And some of them with no training at all, right?
No training at all. Jay Oakerson, brilliant actor. Donald Glover, brilliant actor. It's so many of them. They actually blow me away. Nick Turner's a really brilliant actor, too.
Yeah. Almost to the point where some people just think of Nick Turner as an actor.
Almost.
Like some people like, oh, he does stand-up? And I'm like, yeah, that's...
Oh, my God, that actually blows my mind when people don't know he does stand-up. He's so brilliant.
But that's what can happen. I'm sure that there's people who...
It's like as soon as you're good at something, they latch on to it.
Yeah,
well, I mean, there are people who think of Donald Glover just as a person who does rap, because he does Childish Gambino, and it's like... I'm barely aware of that part of him, because the acting and the comedy and all of that is so much bigger to me.
You know, I'm trying to even think of... Who do you think is like... one of the better comics who is an actor, like people that just really stand out.
I think DePaulo's really strong.
DePaulo was so
he's
good.
Crazy good.
Yeah.
So good. I mean, he was in that Amy Schumer thing where he was toe to toe with people who have won awards for acting, and you could tell the difference.
Strong.
Yeah.
And in that group, I thought he kind of stole it. I think he kind of had himself in the center, even though it wasn't necessarily written that way. It kind of felt like, he kind of had control of that room.
She is not. It was really great.
When he hits over the fucking poster. Fucking bullshit. So great.
All right, Chris, give me one.
Chris Gethard, I think, is a good actor.
Chris Gethard is, he's doing our show again soon, right?
Yes.
Because he's got that one-man play that he's doing. But
Career Suicide.
Yeah.
On Broadway.
That's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
And you just walk out, you take the comedy out of it, because it is theater once you're saying it's a one-man play.
Sure, absolutely.
But the weirdness of that is that you can take people to sad places without them going, wait.
Sure.
I didn't come here for this.
But that's good too. It's all cathartic, you know. It's all working stuff out. Yeah, well, absolutely. I don't know. I have a degree in theater. There's a tragedy mask too, my friend.
I know that there is. I just don't want to hear about cancer. There's certain things that if you bring them up, I think I have.
But you know how it can be kind of draining if you see either live theater that's very emotional. Even a movie can bring you to a place and you're like, wow, I feel really drained. I can get that way from comedy too. So it's like what you were describing, like watching people like fall out laughter. It's like that really awkward thing afterwards. You're like, why were we all going so crazy? Like we had a lot. You know what I mean? Like you have that depleted feeling of I laughed too much tonight and now I don't feel good.
You know what? I have that harder. Like if I'm doing an interview and someone has me laughing like that because I'm supposed to be helping. You know what I mean? Like I'm at least, and I'll just turn around and I'm seeing white. Yeah, I'm laughing. Colin Quinn did that to me when I did the thing with him, and I was like ridiculously laughing at how can something be so funny, and then I'm like, wait, I'm not. I'm fucking sitting next to him. I'm not in the audience. Yeah, facing. Stop enjoying so much. I had to rein myself back in. Vito, you're leaning forward.
That's a good sign. That means you've got the right job.
It is the easiest and best job. I always think too, what's great about some of that in front of an audience when I'm doing those interviews is that you start to pick up their rhythm.
Sure.
And I'll never forget sitting in Bob Newhart's rhythm with him during those pauses and feeling the rubber band stretching out till he finally dropped it and feeling the heat come up from 300 people.
Oh, that must have been amazing.
Yeah. And like, one of the things that he said to me is he's like, thanks so much for not stepping in there. And he goes, I can't tell you how many people just feel like they want to change the subject. And he's like, I need those pauses.
Right.
And there was a certain, show at the time. I won't want to give it away. I'll just say it's Tonight Show with Jay Leno, where he would say that Jay would just jump in and tag stuff.
Right.
When the pause is
part of his delivery and his timing.
It had gotten to a point, and his punchlines would be so subtle. So there was a thing of like, you had the number 1 and number 2 albums of all time, and no one did that again until Axl Rose. And he just waits forever. And then he goes, well, it was, it's great to lose it to a friend. And that little fucking line. I mean, there was a laughter that hit the stage that was like being on a boat and a fucking rogue wave hit. Like I literally had to hold onto the chair while the laughter was going down. And it was just amazing to see somebody kill with that small amount of stuff. Oh, lose it to a friend. Vita, who's your guy? Because you leaned forward an hour ago.
I'm really loving Atlanta on FX right now, and Donald Glover's so good.
We already brought him up. You can't do the same line as everybody else.
So good.
I got a co-sign on Donald Glover.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. There's 5 of us, and then there's a million comics. You of all people know how this works.
I got another one, Ron. If you,
this is always a bad thing.
700 comics.
700 comics.
Robert Kelly's an amazing actor.
Yeah, he is.
He's so good. It's true.
You win, buddy. All right.
But now that his show is canceled, and he's like, "But where did Pem Pem go?" He's like, "Where is he? Where is he now?" And I'm like, "But he's in you, smothering to death." But that's the other fucked up thing about this business is that you get to do something that you really want to do, and then they go, and now it's over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's done.
It's dead now.
Yeah. We've killed this thing that you loved.
This thing that you made your whole life about. You changed everything about your life, and you made it the most important thing.
Yeah.
That's done now. So get a new thing.
But, when we were just talking about those things, the Unmasked that I did with Louis C.K. was right after Lucky Louie was canceled. And I'm like, I don't know whether he's still going to want to do it, And he came in, he's like, no, I'm going to, I'll do other stuff. And I'm thinking, will you though? I mean, will you ever get another show?
This is it for you.
It felt
Go back in your hole.
It felt like it.
That would have been a funny approach to the interview.
You have to convince yourself that it's the only thing that's your epicenter. You have to convince yourself that it's the only thing that you're good for, and then it gets taken away, and it's like, but now. But I think it's even harder for the folks when it's like an ongoing show like Saturday Night Live, where it's like, here's your pink slip. Yeah, bye. We're still going to party without you. See you later.
It's still going to go on, just and that. I mean, they just cut a couple people this year.
They did.
Were beloved.
Yeah,
beloved. But all of those people have Showtime shows where nobody's worried about them. Nobody's worried.
And yet, like you said, the show. I mean, if the show survives without Bill Murray and Will Ferrell, it's going to go on forever.
Exactly.
And the people thinking that is going to be canceled one day are crazy.
It's such a difficult thing for the egomaniac inside of the comic to sort of accept that, though, I think, a little bit.
Right.
Like how could it survive without me, says Steve Martin.
Yeah. I do voices.
Exactly.
I'm good at impressions.
I'm the funny one.
Yeah. It's always funny, too, when they'll just have a new president, at the time. Like it was this guy, now it's this guy.
And then it takes time to adjust. We're like, because, all those impressions are kind of like the person, but they're not exact. But then you get used to that version of an impression.
Exactly.
So when somebody comes in and does a new kind of Obama, you're like,
who is you?
That doesn't even make sense. And then eventually that just becomes the way the impression sounds.
Right. What about TV with you? Do you ever want to produce big TV?
Yeah, I mean, I love working with Jay Okerson's NBC CISO thing, the What's Your Fucking Deal? That's season 2, which I believe you're going to be on.
I have been invited on
about.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun.
Right now, I'm holding out for more money.
Hold on to that.
Yeah, I do that no matter what I'm doing. I hold out for more money, no matter what it is.
You won't be paid for this. Yeah, but I think I'm holding out for more.
I learned that with my birthday presents as a small child, just pushing them back at my parents.
Something bigger, perhaps.
I'm not
down the line.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not going to say that I'm mad at you for this offer, but it could. But yeah, that should be. And I went down, and that show is. Well, he's out touring it now.
Right.
But the funniest thing, I think, that Jay has set up a show that he invites people on that he does the best at.
It's hilarious.
So it's like if you know a kid with a ping pong table who invites you over to play ping pong.
Just like smashing like
yeah, you're like, dude, I don't have a table. I don't care if you get me first.
It's so true.
But that is and then the fact that you guys were even, invited to do a second season of that is
sure.
Really,
second
really
season.
cool.
Christina and I started producing this on the road at Montreal in 2012, 2013, and we did South by. We've done a bunch of them, but it got picked up for NBC last year, and then it got picked up again this year, and we are booking it as we speak. We're really excited about it.
And you don't want to even say yet, but there's some giant names coming in.
There are some giant names coming in that we're really excited about. Todd Glass is one of them.
Wow, that's fantastic.
I am so excited about Todd.
I love that guy, too.
He's so amazing.
When I did the Unmasked with him, it was, ladies and gentlemen, Todd Glass, and let's hear it one more time for Todd Glass.
That's about right.
He's also a guy that I hate to even say it, he can make me laugh like a little kid.
Yeah.
And I'm not even comfortable with that kind of laughter.
And he's on and off stage.
Yes.
He'll do it off stage.
I don't know if there's much of a difference.
I think his personality is funny. Yeah. It's not just he's funny and when he writes a joke or his delivery, like he is funny. Like his personality.
Well, yes, because there's enough. Here's the thing about him. There's a neediness in him that's a little bit sweet. So it'll be like if you tell him something and he'd be like, I don't know whether you mean that or not, but it's really good to hear. And I think he's trying to sincerely say that.
And I think,
but it's hilarious.
And I think that when somebody is legitimately funny, them as a person is funny, they continue to be funny even when they're angry and they're not trying to be funny.
Right.
Like that's just like at that point you can't help but be funny. Like that's just who you are.
Right.
And angry Todd Glass is very funny.
It's still a funny Todd Glass.
That's what we were talking about, like with some people that do open mics and stuff, that you just want to say, do you make your friends laugh? Did people tell you?
Who told you to come here?
Yeah, that you're the funny guy, and they're like, "Oh no, I love comedy." But that's plenty.
Sure,
but you can just love it.
I feel like you need that.
Yeah.
So, you know, like you need the people who just love comedy to be at a comedy club all the time too. So,
Right.
like, it's not
a
not
valued
bad
position in what happens.
But we need fans more than we need comedians.
I love rock and roll, but you don't see me up next to the fucking Jagger. I would love to be. I think it would be fun.
Give me the guitar.
I've imagined it, but I've never tried to do it.
Yeah.
And then there's the goddamn Comedy Jam, which is
exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And they're going to be on NBC. They're going to be on What's Your Fucking Deal this year.
Are they really?
They are, yeah. Josh, Adam Myers, and Jeremiah, all three of them are coming.
Now, how are they going to do that? What are the
Well, they did it in Toronto. They did it in Montreal this summer.
Did
Just
they?
for Laughs. Yeah, they did. They made up a song. Brad Williams had just gone on stage, and there was a girl in the front row who was a swimsuit model, and Josh Adam Myers went on stage and started a song. Have you had him on before?
No.
He has a super deep, raspy voice. He used to be a DJ for a strip club, and he sounds exactly like that. Yeah. And he went up on stage and started calling this girl. He started calling this girl a fuck slut, and just went to town on how sexy she was and all the stuff he was going to do to her and all the stuff. It was probably 8.5 minutes long, and it was some of the funniest and Jeremiah, like they were banging on the keyboard in the background. It was legitimately good music, and it was absolutely, absolutely hilarious. And he got her number at the end, and I think they went out on a date that night. So
that is the most depressing story I've ever heard. There is such a thing as too much game.
That was too much game.
Yeah.
Too much game.
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't need to have the rock vibe and the comedy vibe together.
Yeah, it's too much confidence
too much.
in one person.
Yeah.
Plus, he has a super deep voice. So I think that sort of like puts him over the edge.
Well, the deep voice will work for women. Why is that?
I don't know. It's just like
Yeah, there's something sexy about it.
Is it?
There's something nice about having a powerful, commanding voice.
I know guys in radio who would have those kind of things, and their just phone would ring from women. All
Crazy,
the time
right?
saying,
And they were
"Yeah,
like
can I
human
meet you?"
garbage piles, but they had a good voice.
Yes. Yeah, they wore the same T-shirt every fucking day. But that is like, I think there's no lower form of celebrity than a small market rock guy. But it is still celebrity.
It is still
a celebrity, yeah.
And in that way, it kind of makes it stronger. Like a local celebrity
Right.
has a lot of power in that way.
Yes.
Because they're an accessible celebrity.
Exactly.
Right. So it is like someone important has walked into your life and is playing records on a Thursday. Well, Rebecca, always great to see you. We're going to do this more often. Red Clay Comedy Festival happening this Thursday, September 29th through Saturday, October 1st in Atlanta, Georgia. Rory Scovel, Clayton English, and more. Go to redclaycomedy.com. And if you go to that show, you'll get to meet Rebecca, and everybody loves her, and everybody's crazy about her, and everybody owes her. So,
and Roy's taping his special there. Jack Knight's going to be producing it. So.
Is that
or Jack
right?
White. Jack White, the musician. Yeah, Roy's taping his special.
That's your idol.
Cool.
Love Jack White.
So will Jack White
come
be
on
there?
down, man.
You should be there for that, dude.
I should go.
Dude.
Call Colin, see if you can get his ticket.
That'd be great. We'll see you guys again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!